Good morning. Perhaps never before has a local election generated as much interest as the MCD election in India's national capital has. I'm Barkha Dutt, yo with the Mojo story. Our live and continuous coverage on Battleground 2022 kicks off this morning with our focus on who will win the Delhi Municipal Corporation. Remember, the exit polls have forecast that the Aam Aadmi Party is set for a historic landslide win. Will the exit polls be proven right? If they are, Arvind Kejriwal's party will be wresting the municipal corporation back from the BJP after a domination of 15 years. The MCD is not just a prestige battle and a knockout confrontation between the BJP and the AAP that have been hitting the headlines on a collision course for several months now. It's also critical to the BJP because remember, this is a party that hasn't been in power in the Delhi Assembly since 1998, 3 terms of Sheila Dikshit, followed by a dominant regime of Arvind Kejriwal. These are also elections and results that come against a backdrop of several very high-pitched allegations by the BJP against the Aam Aadmi Party, whether it be the liquor scam or whether it be releasing videos of Aam Aadmi Party Satyendra Jain inside jail alleging preferential treatment. Arvind Kejriwal, in a recent interview to the Mojo story, wanted to know why the BJP fielded at least 6 chief ministers and counting to take him on. He sees a possible victory in these results as a vindication of the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party says that it's been targeted with falsified allegations, and none of these allegations have actually been believed by the voters. Now, it is a couple of minutes past 8 in the morning, and we are going to be starting to look at those leads in just a minute from now. But let me introduce our guests. We're going to have a full house soon, but we're kicking off the morning with my friend and colleague Kartikeya Batra. Kartikeya is going to be taking us through those leads and those numbers, being our numbers guy this morning. Good morning, Kartikeya. It's great to see you.
Morning,
Also
Barkha.
joining us. Morning. Also joining us is Nakul Sahani. Nakul is an independent filmmaker, but has been a kind of passionate supporter in the past of the Aam Aadmi Party, and he's going to help us make sense of why this election has come to matter so much to both of the critical sort of players in this, the protagonists, Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. One might ask, where is the Congress? And that's a story, of course, in itself. Kartikeya, if you can start by, I know the leads will come in fast and furious, and we'll ask you to take us through them as they do. But give us a sense of what is this MCD all about? There are people outside Delhi saying, why are you all going bananas over this?
No, Barkha, I think just to set context, you need to look at how the BJP has treated this election. An election scheduled for April 2022 was delayed for delimitation. Now, if you were to believe analysts, and I think I do believe in that, at that time, I think the BJP wasn't sure of winning this election. Winning MCD for Mr. Kejriwal is not just winning a local election. It means total hegemony over Delhi. At the same time, it would mean that in the last 7 years, this will be the 3rd time, 3 out of 4 elections, where they will decisively beat the BJP. And that has repercussions for Mr. Kejriwal's national ambitions, which the BJP would like to clip. In addition, something like an MCD, as we know from the BMC in Mumbai, is a big source of resources for any political party. So I think considering all these factors, this becomes very important. And my other submission in that regard would be that even in 2017, the Aam Aadmi Party could have won the MCD, if not for a very decent performance by the Congress. If you were to believe the exit polls this time, the reason why the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be doing better in terms of wards or number of seats is because of a collapse in the Congress's vote share by around 50%. So the BJP's vote share has been static as per exit polls, but the count of their seats has gone down primarily because the Congress continues its collapse in Delhi and now continuing even into the MCD election.
Right.
And Barkha, by the way, even as we speak, Barkha, the first 2 leads are out, both to the Aam Aadmi Party.
Right. And you know what? I'm going to let you take a look at those leads and let me bring in Nakul. And Nakul, let me ask you the same question. Why does this election matter so much to the Aam Aadmi Party? This is a party that is poised to test its national ambition in Gujarat. The results of that will be out tomorrow morning. In Delhi, it continues to enjoy a dominant position in assembly politics. I would say one of the reasons that the MCD matters so much is not just because this is one of the largest municipal corporations in the world or because it's a cash-rich corporation, but also because the kind of slew of allegations that the Aam Aadmi Party has been facing from the BJP, whether it be liquor policy, whether it be Satyendra Jain inside jail, and Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia are going to argue if this is a landslide win for them, that the people of Delhi aren't buying any of it. Nakul, why is this election important to the Aam Aadmi Party?
Barkha, before I start, just a small clarification. I have been introduced as a passionate supporter of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Is that is that
I
wrong?
have passion. Well, I have passionately followed the growth of the Aam Aadmi Party
Okay,
for sure
I
because I
stand
think there is,
corrected. I stand corrected.
and I have my share of criticisms of the party. I think there is something. Yes, I have my share of appreciations as well. But
Point taken.
just yeah,
Point taken. Thank you for that
all right.
clarification. Go ahead.
No, no.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think it's also important for another reason that there is, for example, there is a certain the two reasons, right? For me, one, because there is a certain model of development that the BJP has projected, and then the Congress actually has struggled to, at a national level, at least the Congress or has struggled to show any alternate model of development to the country. Now the AAP has been projecting and has been sort of has been pushing itself, has been campaigning in other parts, especially in Gujarat, with what they're calling the Delhi model of development, which is a sort of
Yeah.
welfareism, and which is a sort of welfareist model, which as opposed to a certain model, well, what one perceives a model of development that the BJP is propagating, one perceives that that is a more sort of corporate friendly model. AAP claims that there is a more people friendly model, a certain model of welfareism. And I think for AAP, it's also an important vindication of that kind of welfareism, their model of their version of welfareism. And that is something that they're trying to, so they're also trying to, I mean, so for in that sense, politically, they're also being able to show the rest of the country that, the people of Delhi are appreciative of uh, the welfare schemes. And if you look at the CSDS surveys, which we can sort of elaborate on later, how
Yeah.
people of Delhi are sort of perceiving their welfare model, and especially the poor and the lower income groups. Secondly, like you said, that there's been a slew of allegations against Aam Aadmi Party, from the liquor scam, uh, those videos that have been released from jail of Satyendra Jain. The fact that none of that is sticking is, I think, is again a sort of a vindication for Aam Aadmi Party, because they can turn around and say that, none of these allegations, the people don't believe these allegations, and that, the Kattar Imandar tag that they sort of have given themselves. So I feel at that level. And thirdly, sorry, one more important point, which is
Yeah.
that regional parties like the Trinamool Congress, regional parties like the DMK, the Trinamool Congress, have shown the ability, or BJD, have shown the ability to take on what seemed to be an invincible BJP or Modi, right? And the Congress has completely failed at doing that. If we look at all the recent elections, you can't think of one election where it was a bipolar election, in which was Congress versus BJP, where the Congress has won the election comfortably. They're still struggling in Himachal. What many would have thought would have been an easy election for them, they're struggling over there. Whereas the Aam Aadmi Party has time and again in Delhi shown that, in spite of, like, even in the Vidhan Sabha election, which was a shrill communal election. I mean, at least the campaign by the BJP was a shrill communalized election where they used weaponized Shaheen Bagh. The AAP has shown the ability to take on that kind of a campaign by the BJP. The AAP has shown time and again in Delhi the ability to defeat the BJP electorally, which the Congress has actually, at one level, failed to do. So at that level also, I think the AAP is being able to successfully project themselves as a better alternative to the BJP than, say, so far the Congress has.
Yeah. We'll okay.
Barkha, I have an
Yeah.
update.
Yeah.
So, early trends, Barkha, these are postal ballots, word of caution before I speak up. So, currently we have leads coming from 14 wards. Aam Aadmi Party leading in 9, BJP 4, and Congress 1. So this is the trajectory that the exit polls were giving us. These seats for the Aam Aadmi Party are coming from East Delhi, some for the BJP come from North Delhi. But again, word of caution being, these are still postal ballots, still very early days, but early trends suggesting that Aam Aadmi Party is ahead of both the Congress and the BJP.
Okay, I'm going to actually allow Karthikeya to look at those numbers a little more closely. In the meantime, Arvind Kejriwal, the one question I put to him, Nakul, and this would be of interest to you, that this is a party that was born from an anti-corruption movement. And today there are all kinds of ideological questions that are engulfing the Aam Aadmi Party. What makes them really distinct? Are they a softer version or a variation of the BJP? Are they post-ideology? What sets Arvind Kejriwal apart today? And this is what his answer was.
जब आम आदमी पार्टी की पैदाइश हुई वो एक एंटी करप्शन मूवमेंट के बैक पर इमर्ज होके आई। आज अगर अरविंद जी से पूछा जाए कि आम आदमी पार्टी को क्या डिस्टिंक्ट करता है फ्रॉम बीजेपी एंड कांग्रेस, व्हाट मेक्स यू डिफरेंट, व्हाट मेक्स अरविंद केजरीवाल एंड द आम आदमी पार्टी डिफरेंट, वो आप क्या कहेंगे?
अरविंद केजरीवाल एक कट्टर ईमानदार आदमी है, कट्टर देशभक्त आदमी है। ये बात कहने की पूरी भारतीय राजनीति में किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है। तो वो क्या करते हैं, वो मेरे पे कीचड़ फेंकते हैं, कहते हैं नहीं नहीं ये भी हमारे जैसा है, हम तो चोर हैं ही। वो कहते हैं केजरीवाल भी हमारे जैसा है। ये साबित करते करते इनको 8-10 साल तो हो गए, अभी तक तो साबित कर नहीं पाए।
सो योर ऑनेस्टी मेक्स यू डिफरेंट,
ऑफ कोर्स, एंड मेरी ईमानदारी और मेरी देशभक्ति।
ईमानदारी और देशभक्ति।
Imandari or Desh Bhakti is what Arvind Kejriwal is saying to set himself apart. We'll analyze that because really the big question that's going to emerge, be it from Delhi, be it from Gujarat, as Nakul you alluded to, is whether the AAP is now priming itself to be the principal challenger to the BJP. It certainly knows how to borrow from the BJP playbook. But Karthikeya, I've got to jump right to you to give us a sense of the leads. We've got early leads on your screen. The Aam Aadmi Party is ahead in 9, the BJP in 4. I know those numbers are changing even as we put them up on our screen. Karthikeya, go ahead.
BJP 7.
Karthikeya, please go ahead.
Yeah. Barkha, even as we speak, the numbers will be refreshed quickly. Yeah, I'm saying even as we speak, Barkha, the leads for Aam Aadmi Party have swollen up to 15. That those for BJP to 7, and Congress is at 1. So Aam Aadmi Party right now at 2x the numbers for the BJP. One thing to remember, Barkha, is the better the Congress does, the happier the BJP will be. Because as I said in 2017, it was the Congress's vote share that dented the Aam Aadmi Party. So for the Aam Aadmi Party to do well, it is required that the Congress slips down even further. And it seems that that's what's happening. But as I said, even as we speak, 15, as you've seen on the screen, 15 for the Aam Aadmi Party, 7 for BJP, 1 for the Congress. We are getting the details even as we speak. But again, early trends of the 23 seats, we have 15 for the Aam Aadmi Party for now.
And I want you to talk a little bit about this demise of the Congress. Remember, this is a city-state, Karthikeya, where the Congress had a very, very popular government in Sheila Dikshit, three terms.
Yes.
The BJP has not been able to revive itself since 1998. But what about the Congress and this decline of the Congress at a time when there's a high-profile Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra on? Karthikeya, talk a little bit about these plunging numbers of the Congress party so far. Again, health warning. These are leads, these are not results. Yeah, go
BJP
ahead. Go ahead, Karthikeya. Yeah.
But even as we speak, the fresh update is Aam Aadmi Party 21 leads, BJP 8 and Congress 1. So I think the broad question that you are asking is the reasons behind the Congress's demise. Absolutely right. After Sheila Dikshit ji, the Congress has failed to come up with an alternative leadership in Delhi, much like the BJP after the likes of Mr. Madan Lal Khurana, Mr. Sahib Singh Verma, so Mr. V.K. Malhotra for that matter. If you see today, who is the face for the Congress in Delhi? And at the same time, what has happened is that the Aam Aadmi Party has dented the exact vote bank that the Congress under Sheila Dikshit ji used to get. What was that vote bank? That vote bank was the urban poor, the Juggi Jhopdi colony, the lower to middle income families. That entire vote bank has en masse shifted to the Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, even the Sangathan that the Congress used to have to a large extent has migrated to the Aam Aadmi Party. So in fact, today I have no qualms in admitting that Aam Aadmi Party today is to the Delhi wala what the Congress was during Sheila Dikshit ji's tenure. The difference probably is that the Aam Aadmi Party's model of governance is more about social welfare via handouts. I will not use the word freebies or reveries. I won't. I don't think that that's how it should be characterized. These are handouts, and every party does it. The Sheila Dikshit model of governance was a little different. If you see back then, infrastructure spending was more on the agenda. That is probably taken a backseat now. But at the same time, this current government has provided relaxations to middle income and lower income families through electricity waivers, through free water, etc. So I think the simple reason why the BJP is in the mess that it is in Delhi is A, that its vote share has been constant, it's not been rising. They don't have an alternative leadership, and the Aam Aadmi Party has been very, very successful in getting the entire vote share that the Congress used to get in its own pocket, barring a few percentage points here and there, right? And even as we speak, Barkha, Aam Aadmi Party taking the lead in 25 wards, BJP 10, and Congress 1. Congress still at 1.
So those numbers are changing at a very rapid pace as the leads come in. Can we just put Can we're going to allow Karthikeya to refresh those numbers? There they are. 25 as Karthikeya said ahead. I just want, before I come back to Nakul, the BJP isn't wiped out. At least by the early leads yet. It's not wiped out. It isn't a
but by no means should you expect it to be wiped out. Reason being, look at the BJP's vote base in Delhi, 35% plus minus something. So you don't expect the BJP to be wiped out if you were to believe the exit polls. In fact, there is a clear distinction in the socio-economic basis of the vote base. While the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be doing better amongst the lower castes and the lower classes, the BJP seems to be doing better in terms of the upper castes and the upper classes. The irony for the BJP is those are the people who are not the most enthusiastic voters across the country. Whereas the people who come from the Jhuggi Jhopri, the slums, because of their higher dependence on governments, they are the ones who have a bigger stake when it comes to elections. And so you usually see rural turnouts to be higher than the urban turnouts. Something similar happens in Delhi.
Yeah. I want to actually go to Nakul in just a moment, but one last question for you, Karthikeya. One of the things that Arvind said to me, Kejriwal said to me in that interview, was to underscore how many resources the BJP put in this election. Now, the BJP's playbook, and this is commendable. One of the reasons that they grow and dominate in the way that they do is that they don't think any election is too small for them. Even so, to bring out chief ministers, we just saw pictures of Himanta Biswa Sarma, to bring out a pantheon of their chief ministers, a pantheon of their ministers. Is this a kind of David versus Goliath positioning? Kejriwal has always been good at that kind of framing of himself and his party. So Karthikeya, on that, as we look at the leads, the Aam Aadmi Party well ahead, the Congress getting wiped out, and the BJP kind of in a clear second position. Go ahead, Karthikeya.
No, Barkha, this is absolutely true. But I think that in Delhi now, I'm not sure who's the David and who's the Goliath. Because I think constantly the Aam Aadmi Party has been whipping the BJP if you just leave out the national elections. So as I said, 2017 MCD election, the Aam Aadmi Party lost because they could not attract the Congress vote. That was the one aberration, I would say. But apart from that, 2015 assembly election, 2020 assembly election, by all means, this election on the MCD, I think the Kejriwal sort of romance with Delhi continues, and it helps that his profile has been rising nationally as well. So he's the Delhi wala who's gone across the country now and who's propagating this entire Delhi governance model. But also, Barkha, probably, Delhi-based beat reporters will tell you this, but from what I understand, this election from the Aam Aadmi Party side was not so much managed by Kejriwal, but was managed more by team Manish Sisodia. And people telling us that, this was more the job of Atishi, Durgesh Pathak, and the likes of Manish Sisodia and his team, right? So if this indeed is the case, are we then heading for a dual sort of power separation within the Aam Aadmi Party, where Delhi is kept in the hands of these local leaders, whereas Arvind Kejriwal then carries the baton across the country? That will be an interesting development to observe if this election does reap success for the Aam Aadmi Party, which it seems to be doing. Even as we speak, Aam Aadmi Party 49, BJP 21, Congress 2.
Okay, that those numbers are changing quickly. Let's change them on our screen as well. I want to bring in Nakul at this point. Nakul, as someone who clarified that you have followed the Kejriwal trajectory, the AAP trajectory very closely, I think Karthike makes this very interesting point. Arvind Kejriwal is somebody who hasn't kept portfolios for himself. This is a very unusual thing for a chief minister to do. He has insisted on being the national convener, but also being somebody who doesn't want to get bogged down in handling portfolios. And in a way, Karthike's allusion to the fact that it's kind of a Manish Sisodia run campaign and a Manish Sisodia run government. This is especially important because of how Sisodia has almost been drawn into the liquor policy sort of scam imbroglio. We've had raids at his residence, but yet eventually he was not named in the charge sheet. Those are the pictures of the CBI at the doorstep of Mr. Sisodia. Against this entire backdrop, Mr. Kejriwal now says what sets the AAP apart from the BJP is that the BJP has tried for a long time to throw mud, and that mud hasn't stuck. That's essentially, I think, what the AAP will say today. Those are the latest numbers, by the way. 49 ahead for the AAP, 21 for the BJP, and the Congress struggling at 2. Nakul, go ahead.
Actually, yes, I agree, because I mean, on the one hand, Aam Aadmi Party has sort of, the sort of Kattar Imandar tag again, and that's that clip that you played from that interview with Kejriwal as well. This is and the fact that Manish Sisodia wasn't finally named in the charge sheet, now that becomes a massive vindication for the AAP, right? There are others who were associated with Aam Aadmi Party, including Vijay Nair and stuff, who have been named in the charge sheet. But I think what really works for the AAP is, one can also turn around and because as they grow nationally, and this is what you were saying earlier, that as they're trying to, this is clearly a very ambitious party. Arvind Kejriwal is clearly a very ambitious politician. He's looking to grow nationally, and as they're growing nationally, while he does officially continue to sort of retain, this is sort of the portfolio of the Chief Minister of Delhi, but for all practical purposes, the state is being run by Manish Sisodia, and Kejriwal is essentially looking to expand the base of the party nationally. It is interesting that even if you look at states, if you're looking at Delhi, like Karthike was also alluding to, that now, yes, he's been able to play up, and and to be fair to him, yes, I think the David versus Goliath tag at one level still does. He can still sort of play. It still works in his favor, because and he can still sort of use it, because nationally the BJP is a massive party today. It's a much bigger party. They have much greater resources. If one was to do a sort of if one was to look at the kind of resources and the money spent by the BJP and the AAP, I think the BJP in the Delhi MCD elections, I think the BJP still would be the kind of resources that the BJP would have spent in Delhi would have been much greater than AAP, right? Even in this MCD election. But still, today they have an organization, like Karthike was saying, that a lot of the Congress Sangathan, which has moved to, there are people in the Congress who are openly stating that, we vote AAP now. Right, so I think that Sangathan has moved. They have
sorry, I'm just putting you on a pause for a second, because those numbers. Nakul, I'll come back to you in a second. Karthike, over to you.
Yeah, 100 leads in Barkha, 66 to the Aam Aadmi Party. As I said, this trend of Aam Aadmi Party being 2x the BJP continues, while the Congress is not even entered double digits. Unfortunate for the Congress, but 66 AAP, 32 BJP. But Barkha, just to add to this whole thing about corruption, against the Aam Aadmi Party, these charges, look at it interesting, Barkha, that, these charges tend to stick only when they are posed in conjunction with some sort of socio-economic hardship people are facing. Just corruption in itself doesn't stick. It only sticks when you can make a causal chain between corruption and the hardships that people are facing. What was happening in 2011-12 was, it was a double whammy for the UPA. You had corruption charges, plus you had poor economic growth. So you said, Acha, if you were not corrupt, you would not have been going through this sort of socio-economic slump or this economic slump. Today in Delhi, even these corruption charges stick. The economic situation in Delhi is good because it's a surplus state. The freebies are still going out, or the handouts are still going out rather. So the governance model seems to be doing well. For the BJP, it's the other way around. despite there being not very good economic management at the national level, there are no serious corruption charges. So you need to have both in order for that entire narrative to stick. And the Aam Aadmi Party right now is, in a way, getting bailed out of this entire process because its governance model seems to be sticking with the people of the city state. 70 to the Aam Aadmi Party, by the way, 38 BJP and 2 Congress, 110 leads are out of 250.
Okay, I'm going to let Nakul complete his point. Nakul, do go ahead. The point is that the reason that there's so much interest in this AAP versus BJP battle is that you're looking one at a national party that really came into its own this dominant phase of the BJP in post 2014. Of course, we've had NDA governments before in the Vajpayee era, but not this kind of almost sort of invincible brand Modi, where even in state elections like Gujarat or previously in Uttarakhand, you can have extremely unpopular local leaders, but Modi's popularity seems to pull the election through. I'm just going to let you complete your point. What this demise of the Congress in particular might mean for, let's say, where a Muslim voter turns. There's been a lot of talk about, let's say, the AAP's soft Hindutva. Clearly, and I'm sure Karthik can speak to this later, clearly the Muslim voter might have decided, at least in Delhi, to be tactical as well and say, it's okay, maybe AAP is playing a short-term set of games to contain the BJP, and we're okay with that. We don't need the AAP to be overtly ideological. So there are all those kinds of interesting questions that come up. Nakul?
No, I think that's a very important point, and I think this is where the AAP, because you also asked AAP their ideology, and this is a question that a lot of people are asking Arvind Kejriwal, and then he says something extremely simplistic, like he'll have these sort of, and he's very good at sort of throwing these catchphrases at you, Kattar Imandar, Kattar Deshbhakt, Manavta. All that is fine, but I think where economics is concerned, they have sort of very clearly projected themselves as a sort of center-left welfareist party. But where social issues are concerned, they've at best been non-committal, and at worst, I think, sort of pandered to a kind of soft right Hindutva on occasions, right? Now, and the truth is that they've sort of dilly-dallied on those issues. It is important for Aam Aadmi Party, I feel, and I think in the short, like you said, so religious minorities in Delhi, Muslims particularly, might stick to the AAP as of now for tactical reasons. But I don't think that this kind of dilly-dallying on social issues is something that they will be able to sustain for very long. I think as they grow nationally, and if they grow nationally, I think this is something that they will have to position themselves a little more clearly.
They can't be, and that's a very interesting point. The AAP is all set to. Once again, Karthik, I know I'm coming to you in a second. I just wanted to make this point that the AAP is all set to formally become a national party after the results tomorrow. And Nakul is saying they're not going to be able to reside in this space of ambivalence that they have thus far. They're going to have to take issues, whether on foreign policy, on national policy, on points of debate in parliament, and so on. Karthik, for the numbers, please.
Barkha, it seems the BJP is picking up. So far we've seen Aam Aadmi Party stagnate at 70, but BJP has jumped from 38 to 45. Again, early days, these things tend to stabilize probably an hour or 90 minutes into counting. BJP is 60 and Aam Aadmi Party is 80 now. So we have the most recent numbers. Aam Aadmi Party 80, BJP 6. So the gap is narrowing, Barkha. Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing. Can we update these numbers quickly, please? No, these numbers are also dated. Karthik, give us the latest.
As I said, Aam Aadmi Party 80, BJP 60 leads, and Congress 2. So as I said, the gap is reducing. But again, a lot of these could be postal ballots opening up in newer constituencies. And generally, we see postal ballots tend to favor the BJP. Generally, I'm just making a very general statement. That could be wrong in Delhi's case because Delhi is a very specific territory. But yes, Aam Aadmi Party 80, BJP 60. The gap that was 2x between Aam Aadmi Party and BJP is now 1.3x. So things are evolving, Barkha, very quickly. Yeah.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Let's play out as we await greater clarity on where those numbers are actually finally going to settle. Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal did react in the last few hours to the exit polls. I think the AAP believes that Delhi is a done deal. These numbers might be somewhat surprising, but again, health warning, as Karthik said, these might be postal ballots that tend to lean towards the BJP. So this is at the moment in Leeds at least closer than most of the exit polls had believed this competition to be. But Kejriwal did react to both Gujarat exit polls, forecasting a 15 to 20% vote share for him and a landslide win in the Delhi MCD. As we go over to Karthikeya in a moment from now to update those numbers, let's listen in.
सर कल एग्जिट पोल के नतीजा है, भारी बहुमत एमसीडी में आम आदमी पार्टी को मिलती हुई नज़र आ रही है, क्या कहेंगे?
तो मैं दिल्ली के लोगों को बधाई देता हूं। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं, कल मैं देख रहा था नतीजे, आम आदमी पार्टी के काफ़ी अच्छे नतीजे आए और जनता ने फिर से भरोसा जताया है, आम आदमी पार्टी पे भरोसा किया है। तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि ऐसे ही नतीजे आएंगे और कल इंतज़ार करते हैं।
सर गुजरात
में पॉजिटिव नहीं है,
पॉजिटिव हैं, नई पार्टी है, नई पार्टी ने एंट्री की है और कह रहे थे कि बीजेपी जो है गढ़ है इन लोगों का। तो इतनी कोई 15% 20% वोट शेयर पहली बार अगर कोई पार्टी जाए तो बड़ी बात है।
सर ये भी सवाल है कि अगर किसी की सरकार नहीं बनती है तो क्या कांग्रेस
इंतज़ार कीजिए परसों तक।
Okay, so that intizar moment of intizar is over. Karthik, what's the latest that you have in terms of numbers?
The gaps further narrowing. Barkha, Aam Aadmi Party 90 leads, BJP 75. One more thing, Barkha, is interesting, and I think you should have some legal luminaries talk about this. My sense is that the anti-defection law does not apply to municipal corporations. So that could be something really interesting to look forward to. There's a tight situation with either party, bending one way or the other. But right now, BJP 75 leads, Aam Aadmi Party 90 leads, and Congress 2.
Okay, I'm going to actually play out. Very interestingly, the Aam Aadmi Party has seemed very unfazed, at least overtly, by these allegations of corruption. And I specifically asked. We've been seeing a slew of these videos of Satyendra Jain inside jail. The allegation has been of preferential treatment inside jail, and so on. And Arvind Kejriwal just made light of it. In fact, he made a pretty smart joke all about how BJP's videos and Nakul, this will interest you since you're in the business of filmmaking. He said these videos are really boring. Why doesn't the BJP at least add some music to these videos? Listen in to how Arvind Kejriwal has been responding to those slew of corruption allegations that the BJP has been leveling at them.
वीडियोस बहुत रिलीज हो रहे हैं। इन वीडियोस के बारे में आपके पूर्व मंत्री, आपके कॉलीग सत्येंद्र जैन बार बार इंस्टॉलमेंट्स में वीडियोस आते हैं कि भाई जेल में मसाज मिल रहा है, ये हो रहा है, खाना मिल रहा है, खास ट्रीटमेंट मिल रही है। इन वीडियोस को किस नजरिए से आप देखते हैं? अपने कैंपेन में दिल्ली में एक व्हाट्सएप पढ़ के सुनाया वीडियोस के बारे में।
तो उसमें व्हाट्सएप में ये था, किसी रोज ये एक वीडियो निकाल रहे हैं तो किसी ने लिखा था कि दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी पार्टी जो है उसकी दुकान दिल्ली में बंद हो गई है, उसका माल खरीदना दिल्ली के लोगों ने बंद कर दिया बिल्कुल। तो अब उन्होंने एक वीडियो कंपनी चालू की है, रोज एक वीडियो जारी करते हैं। जैसे हर फ्राइडे को बॉलीवुड की एक पिक्चर आती है, ऐसे इनकी रोज सवेरे 9 बजे एक पिक्चर निकलती है। बॉलीवुड की पिक्चर रिलीज होती है थिएटर में, इनकी पिक्चरें रिलीज होती है न्यूज चैनल्स पे। और इतनी बोरिंग और इतनी वाहियात पिक्चरें हैं कि एक शो भी नहीं चलता। 9 बजे रिलीज होती है, 12 बजे तक सारे टीवी चैनल से
शायद एडवाइस दिया कि मनोज तिवारी जी का एक गाना लगा दें उन पे।
उसमें अगर ना तो गाने हैं उन पिक्चरों में, ना उसमें सॉन्ग्स हैं, ना कोई डांस है, तो अगर ये रिंकिया के पापा या कोई डाल देते इसके अंदर थोड़ी चल जाती।
Okay, while Mr. Kejriwal handles that with good humor, these numbers are absolutely fascinating. Karthikeya, get your mic up and take a
Barkha, we're just refreshing these, but Aam Aadmi Party 95, BJP 80. So the gap is just 15 right now. Congress is still stuck at 2. As I said, the gap is narrowing, but early trends again. As we speak, BJP is turned to 88, Aam Aadmi Party 100. So Aam Aadmi Party has breached the 100 mark. But again, these fluctuations will keep happening. So, these numbers keep moving up and down. So which is why this is a very exciting first hour of counting. After 9:30, things start to get boring because the trend starts holding. But right now, these things will, keep on jumping around. So BJP 88, Aam Aadmi Party 100, Congress 2. The gap is really narrow, not close to what the exit polls are suggesting. But again, as I said, we have seen many an election flip after the first hour or first 45 minutes as leads start stabilizing. And again, a lot of these, because the ballots are being opened, a lot of these are just postal ballots that are being opened. So we really can't say much about a lot of the seats. Probably the seats have started opening up early on. Yeah.
I think it might be interesting at this point to turn our attention for what the exit polls were suggesting. Could that still happen? And we're going to pull up that slide in just a moment, where the Aam Aadmi Party has crossed the 100 mark. And I think we should spend 2 minutes as that gap, we allow that, where the gap settles between the BJP and the Congress, because it's changing minute to minute, to talk a little bit about the demise, as it were, of the Congress party, right? Nakul, do you want to come in on that? I mean, who would have thought in Sheila Dikshit's Delhi, as it once used to be known, you would see the Congress at a paltry two leads. These are not even two results. These are two leads. Now, very quickly, sorry, this is what the poll of polls, the exit polls actually forecast in the MCD elections. This could still happen. I just want to say the Aam Aadmi Party, Kartike, has breached the 100 mark, so it could still get to 154. And the BJP poll of polls was forecasting no more than 84 for the BJP. The BJP is already leading in 88. Can we switch to the actual leads, please? Can we switch to the actual leads while Kartike comments on that? Kartike?
But Barkha, it's interesting for the Aam Aadmi Party now to get to 150. Their strike rate for the next 56 wards will have to be around 90%. So if these are indeed the trends that are going to hold, that 150 mark might look difficult. But again, word of caution. Early trends, these things will change. I think in the next half an hour, things will get clearer. But right now, early trends suggesting it's a close fight with the Aam Aadmi Party clearly ahead of the BJP, but only just. Not by the huge margin the exit polls are predicting. But again, the exit polls might be correct. We will only know in the next 30 to 45 minutes. At this point, Aam Aadmi Party 100, BJP 90, Congress seems to have moved on from 2 to 4 finally. So 194 wards seem to have started reporting, but 56 still to go. As I said, if the Aam Aadmi Party has to cross 150, the strike rate has to be around 90% for the remaining 56 wards. But we all know the majority mark is 126. So actually the task is to get a majority is not that big. They need 26 seats out of the next 56, whereas the BJP needs 36 out of the next 56. So that way, the BJP's demanded strike rate is much higher than what we have for the Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, 90 to 100, Congress slenderly picking that up at 4. Sorry, Nakul, we've been wanting to come to you for a while, but the numbers keep changing, so that's got our attention. Nakul, go ahead. I was asking you about, that demise of the...
Sorry, Barkha, we have an update. I'm very sorry, Nakul. BJP 9, we have a tie now. BJP 98, Aam Aadmi Party 98. We'll refresh the numbers. Congress 4.
I'm just saying wow, because it's bucking at least the exit poll sort of trend. Again, health warning. Let's wait to see where these eventually settle down. But this is the final. BJP and AAP in dead heat. This is dead heat at the moment. It's a neck and neck for an election that was forecast by the exit polls to be a landslide win for the Aam Aadmi Party. Again, it is only 8:40 in the morning. We've got to give it at least another 30 minutes for this to clarify itself. Nakul, sorry. We've been saying Nakul, sorry a lot. You had a question.
I just wanted to quickly confirm, Kartike, are these still postal ballot numbers, or have they started counting EVM?
So that will depend, Nakul, in the sense that seats that started counting early on might have moved to the EVMs, but the seats that started later might still be in the postal ballots round. So one can't make the comparison. But yes, predominantly the seats that have come in later would still be counting postal ballots.
Counting postal ballots. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
about the Congress, about the Congress, right? One sense is that this has become, at least when you look at the Delhi unit of the Congress, that this has become an extremely visionless and directionless party. On the one hand, Rahul Gandhi is taking up this grand yatra, the Bharat Jodo Yatra. And the central theme, it's called Bharat Jodo Yatra, right? The central theme of the yatra is communalism, secularism, and the questions of secularism, protecting India's plurality. But on the other hand, you have someone like Jagdish Tytler, one of the key accused of the 1984 massacre of the anti-Sikh riots in Delhi, who's now part of the core committee of the NCD, Congress's MCD core committee, the core committee that's overlooking the MCD elections in Delhi. I don't even understand if the Congress is actually the screening committee for the MCD elections was announced. The Congress's screening committee was announced, I think, just 1 week before the date of nomination. Now, who's going to be able to find 100 candidates into screening in a week? How many people are you going to be able to screen? So there is absolute, I think, and Ajay Makhan, one of the biggest faces of the Congress, had gone to London shortly before the elections. He wasn't even in the city. So I don't know what the Congress is doing, very honestly. There isn't any coherence. Rahul Gandhi seems to have completely given up on electoral politics as of now. It seems he's saying that there's another trajectory to politics, which there is, which is not just electoral.
And
But you
Nakul,
can
look
see
what's
that
happening into
space.
the numbers. I'm so sorry. But the
BJP is taking
BJP
the
has
lead.
just gone ahead of the Aam Aadmi Party. This is turning out to be a much closer contest. Again, health warning. It's only 8:40 in the morning. A lot of this could change. I can see Harshit, my colleague, standing at the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. But Kartikeya, I need a brief update from you on the numbers as they stand right now.
No, you summarize it, Barkha, that this in this seesaw game, the BJP now seems to be the 21 over Aam Aadmi Party's 19, right? BJP 104 leads, Aam Aadmi Party 100, Congress 4. Again, early trends, but this is not what the Aam Aadmi Party would have wanted to see, even in early trends, because they would have wanted this to be a decisive victory. And for that, I think these are very interesting numbers. But again, as I was clarifying to Nakul, a lot of these might still be early postal ballots. We need to wait. We need to see a lot of people actually come into vote really late in the day. All those factors need to be sort of taken into account. But right now, it's really interesting. If you were a BJP supporter, this would be a pleasant surprise. If you're an Aam Aadmi Party supporter, you would basically hold your breath for now. But as I said, things could change. Things could really change, Barkha. But BJP 104, Aam Aadmi Party 100, Congress 4 leads. Even as we speak now, Aam Aadmi Party 98, BJP 108. So the lead now for the BJP is 10. This is, Barkha, I think we're going to have like a very exciting next 45 minutes or so.
Interesting, because as you said, even though it's early days, if this was indeed the landslide win that the polls had forecast, it would not be this kind of dead heat, presumably. But let's give it time. We've all learned our mistakes in calling elections too early, so nobody's calling anything right now. Let's give it time. In the meantime,
Barkha, can I also add, as per the Election Commission website,
yes,
the BJP leading on 32, Aam Aadmi Party 8, Congress 1. So there seems to be some disparity in terms of whether the ballots have been opened earlier in BJP strongholds versus Aam Aadmi Party strongholds. Just saying that ECI 3281, so they've just reported 41 wards. The source we are getting the other numbers are from, they are saying 108 and 98. So as of now, as I said, early trends, but an exciting 45 minutes ahead.
And I just want to explain to our audience the Election Commission's numbers. Why is there such a big difference, you might ask? It's a much more conservative way of putting out numbers. The Election Commission, therefore, is historically slower than what channels and other sources put out. But yes, the BJP has overtaken in this early counting the Aam Aadmi Party in the municipal corporations. I fumbled there for a moment for words because it is such a fascinating election. Unexpectedly close. We aren't even talking about the Congress yet because this is not how numbers look typically in a landslide win for one party. I was going to go across to my colleague Harshit, who's at the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. No, I think oops. Okay, obviously he's having some bandwidth issues. We'll reconnect with him in a second. Nakul, any thoughts on these interesting numbers? Again, health warning. We're not calling a trend one way or the other. Nakul, go ahead. Nakul, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute.
Yeah,
is that fine?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, no, like I was saying, we were discussing the Congress a while back, and the fact is that it doesn't seem to be. I mean, on the one hand, you've seen a kind of decimation, but one is not even. I mean, if you look at the Congress social media handles, they're they're very bureaucratic. I mean, they're so boring, it's not even funny. I mean, if these
Yeah.
elections are actually fought on Twitter, AAP would have won hands down, right? I mean, their social media campaigning seems to be even more impressive and even more effective than BJP's today. The point I'm trying to make is, and then I made that point about Jagdish Titler earlier. I don't think the Congress is in the least bit serious about seriously. I mean, on the one hand, if you're taking out a Bharat Jodo Yatra, you would think that you'd keep the likes of Jagdish Titler out of your core committee. But is it really serious about rebranding itself? The state units seem to be functioning, the Delhi unit and other state units seem to be functioning in some sort of isolation. Rahul Gandhi is
Yeah.
functioning in some. These look like two different parties. I mean, is the Congress, and finally the Congress is almost saying that we've conceded this electoral space. We don't seem to care about it, is what Rahul Gandhi is saying. I don't understand that. Can you make this? Is it such an easy, simplistic either or that you completely concede this electoral space and say, oh no, but the battle is bigger and it's outside of the electoral space, and then you completely hand over power in that sense to
Yeah.
BJP? In the case of Delhi, not BJP, not necessarily just BJP. It's a close contest between the BJP and AAP. So again, what does the Congress want? We saw a very, very lackluster campaign in Delhi. Some time back, I remember there were civic polls in Madhya Pradesh, and the Aam Aadmi Party realized that they have a good chance at winning the Singrauli mayoral seat. All their
Hmm.
top leaders from Sisodia to Sanjay Singh to Arvind Kejriwal were there campaigning for their candidate, and she won the Singrauli seat, right? So
Yeah.
this is clearly a party that has a hunger for victory, and is looking to come to power. Whereas none of the big major leaders came to Delhi from the Congress to campaign for their party. Look at the BJP, look at the AAP. There was such a high voltage campaign. I don't think there was a single rally. Rahul Gandhi didn't come at all. I don't think there was a single rally by Priyanka Gandhi. None of their big leaders came to campaign for their candidates in Delhi. So obviously your cadre also, your worker also begins to feel demoralized. So
Yeah.
is the Congress in any way serious about reviving its electoral fortunes? And we've seen historically that in states where the Congress has been relegated to the third position, right? Be it
Yeah.
historically, be it, I don't know, West Bengal, be it Bihar, be it anywhere, it has struggled almost.
Can
It
I
has
can I
not just,
can, can I just
yeah,
jump in? Can I
yeah,
just jump
please.
in? Sorry, because I think
Hmm.
Harshit is up from the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. Harshit, हम यहाँ बात कर रहे थे अभी की जो आंकड़े आ रहे हैं. बीजेपी is ahead of the आम आदमी पार्टी. एग्जिट पोल्स का कहना था कि आम आदमी पार्टी की लैंडस्लाइड विन होने वाली है. वहां पर काफी टेंशन होगी आम आदमी पार्टी के समर्थकों में. जहां पे सेलिब्रेशन की उम्मीद थी वहां एकदम से कॉन्टेस्ट क्लोज हो गया. हर्षित बताइए. Can't hear you. माइक को पास मत लिए. All I can hear is the Aam Aadmi Party music there. Let's take him out. Let's take him off. Let's take him off. I can't hear him at all. That music is still blaring on those speakers. Kartike, the numbers, please. Kartike?
BJP 130, Aam Aadmi Party 100, and the gap is now widened.
Yeah.
BJP is in the gain, plus 30 ahead of the Aam Aadmi Party. It is interesting, Barkha, how these ballot boxes or EVMs are opened. It could be a time trend where different parties, their voters, because of the socioeconomic profiles, also come to vote at different points in time. So you can imagine like people from the upper class, richer people going, to vote in the morning. Whereas if you're from the lower class or from the Juggi Jopli colony, you might want to go to work early in the morning and then cast your vote while you're coming back in the evening. So all those factors are important. There'll be multiple rounds of counting. Still in early rounds, plus postal ballots, but as of now, BJP in the lead, 130 to Aam Aadmi Party's 100. We will throw this health warning irrespective of whoever leads. Currently, the BJP is leading. Even if the Aam Aadmi Party were leading, we would have thrown the same health warning that this is still early trends. But in early trends, BJP in fact is now 128, Aam Aadmi Party 102. So a slight pickup for the Aam Aadmi Party. BJP 128, Aam Aadmi Party 102, and Congress 4. Back to you, Barkha.
Okay, if you have just joined us at 10 minutes to 9 this morning in an election that was expected, forecast to be the end of the BJP's 15-year domination on the national capital's municipal corporation, the BJP is ahead by now a clear 30 seats. These are not results, these are leads. I have to emphasize again and again, these are leads. But in a landslide win, even in the early hours, this is not how the numbers should look like. This isn't even dead heat anymore. The BJP is leading the Aam Aadmi Party. Harshit, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
बोलो ऑडियो
Harshit,
चेक कर लेंगे।
हाँ जी आई
Harshit,
कैन हियर यू आपको मेरी माइक अनम्यूट
वो कर लेगा वहीं से ना। हाँ ना।
हेलो
हर्षित बोलिए।
कैन यू
हर्षित,
हियर मी
हर्षित आप आसपास, यस हर्षित आप बताइए आप आसपास क्या देख रहे हैं हर्षित?
एक्चुअली आई एम एट द आम आदमी पार्टी हेडक्वार्टर्स। यहाँ पर टू बी ऑनेस्ट बहुत ज्यादा कार्यकर्ता इस वक्त आम आदमी पार्टी के नहीं है एंड एज यू सेड वेरी राइटली ऐसा रिजल्ट एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं था फॉर श्योर। आम आदमी पार्टी वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग कि दे लाइक क्लियर कट वो इस इलेक्शन ले जाएंगे बट अभी वी आर सीइंग अ सीसॉ। अभी देयर वर डिस्कशंस अमंग द मीडिया पर्सनल हियर दे वर सेइंग कि यहाँ से उनको भागना पड़े वापस बीजेपी हेडक्वार्टर्स की तरफ फॉर अ फन टॉक लाइक बट या अभी आम आदमी पार्टी
मैं भी यही सोच
क्वार्टर्स
रही थी कि
में
सारी मीडिया शायद बीजेपी की हेडक्वार्टर्स की तरफ चले जाए। बट बताइए हर्षित। यस
एक्चुअली तो अभी आम आदमी पार्टी हेडक्वार्टर्स में मैं इस वक्त मौजूद हूँ। तैयारियां हालांकि यहाँ पे पूरी है, डेकोरेशंस आर कंप्लीट, पीपल आर लाइक वेटिंग कि कब रिजल्ट्स आए और कब हम लोग सेलिब्रेशंस करें। ढोल वाले मंगाए हुए हैं, एवरीथिंग इज डन एंड डस्टेड बट द ओनली थिंग वी आर वेटिंग फॉर, दे आर वेटिंग फॉर पर्टिकुलरली इज द रिजल्ट्स। बट अभी फॉर नाउ बिकॉज बीजेपी लीडिंग इलेक्शंस, कार्यकर्ताओं में उतना जोश नहीं है और टू बी ऑनेस्ट बहुत ज्यादा कार्यकर्ता इस वक्त आम आदमी पार्टी के हैं भी नहीं। आप हेडक्वार्टर्स पे मे भी जैसे जैसे दिन चढ़ेगा रिजल्ट शायद बदलेगा, वो लोग और कार्यकर्ता यहाँ पर इकट्ठा होंगे, उनके बनेगी और बट अभी फॉर नाउ मीडिया पर्सनल इस वक्त कार्यकर्ताओं से ज्यादा है आम आदमी पार्टी हेडक्वार्टर्स पे, व्हिच इज एक्चुअली क्वाइट सरप्राइजिंग फॉर मी बिकॉज जिस तरीके के एग्जिट पोल्स आ रहे थे नतीजों में साफ साफ लग रहा था कि आम आदमी पार्टी यस प्लीज बता।
जी नहीं, मैं आपसे पूछ रही थी कि आपने कहा वहां जर्नलिस्ट ज्यादा है, समर्थक कम है इस समय, क्योंकि रिजल्ट्स काफी एक तरह से अनएक्सपेक्टेड डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हैं अगर एग्जिट पोल्स की कंपैरिजन में देखा जाए। आप अपने पीछे अभी इस समय अगर क्या देखते हैं, मतलब ज्यादा जर्नलिस्ट और कम वर्कर्स? आई गेस देयर वेटिंग की पिक्चर पहले क्लियर तो हो। Yeah. So Karthike, we have, as Harshit reconnects with us, we have the vote shares up, and this is interesting.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Exactly. No. Yeah, please go on, Barkha. No, because I'm sure you want to say what I was going to say. Please, so please go ahead.
I was just going to say that in the vote share, the AAP is ahead, but in the seat conversion, obviously the BJP is ahead. So talk a little bit about that paradox. Can we quickly flip to what the seats look like? Yeah, there it is. 120.
No, but again, word of caution. The seats and the votes are not comparable because we're getting the leads from a different source. But the vote share is coming from the ECI. Now, even in the ECI, Barkha, while the vote shares are what we are showing here, the BJP is leading on 47 seats, whereas the Aam Aadmi Party is leading on just 12 seats. So it's a bit of a paradoxical situation, as you said. It is possible, for example, that in places where the BJP is leading, the margins are very slender, whereas the Aam Aadmi Party is leading with bigger margins in the seats where they are leading, which makes their seats, those 12 seats, more secure for them versus the 47 where the BJP is leading, because the BJP is leading on 47 with a smaller vote share. But in general, these vote shares are matching with the exit poll vote shares that have been predicted, with about 34-35% for the BJP, around 45% for the Aam Aadmi Party, 45 to 50% if I'm not wrong. But this is showing a better than expected performance for the Congress. And I think that's where, if at the end of the day the Aam Aadmi Party is dented, it will be because the Congress will have outperformed the exit poll numbers.
Well, not in seats, but in votes.
No. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If the Aam Aadmi Party does badly in terms of seats versus the exit polls, it will be primarily because the Congress would have outdone the exit polls in terms of in the vote share, not the seat share. Yes.
Tell me if I'm summing this up correctly. Basically, the vote share, can we switch to the vote share slide for a second? The vote shares seem to reflect what the exit polls said. The Aam Aadmi Party leads in the vote share, but the Congress, Karthike, hang on, listen to me. The Congress is cutting into the AAP vote share, especially when it comes to converting this into seats, giving the advantage to the BJP. Karthike, am I saying this right?
Congress will do to AAP in Delhi what AAP will do to Congress in Gujarat. Simple. Yes. Now, even as we speak, Aam Aadmi Party 119, BJP 111. So the gap is narrowing.
Hang on. So the AAP has overtaken the BJP again?
No. BJP 119. Now it's a tie. Barkha. 115 to both. So, as I said, These things keep fluctuating. So we'll just update this graphics. It's 115 BJP, 115 AAP. We're back to a tight situation now.
Nakul, I want you to talk a little bit about the idea or the absence of opposition unity. Now, you would think that if these were parties that were literally fighting, not the AAP, but parties like the Congress, that were fighting literally for survival, right? For existential, there's an existential crisis with the Gandhi family, with the Congress party. You would think that they would come together at this point. And when I hear Karthikeya say that the Congress is done to the AAP, or the AAP is done to the Congress is done to the AAP in Delhi, what the AAP has done to the Congress in Gujarat, you got to ask, what is the priority of these parties? Is it egos that prevent them from coming together? I heard from an Aam Aadmi Party leader who I can't name that even ahead of Gujarat, they did reach out to Sonia Gandhi for a seat adjustment, not for a formal alliance, but for a seat adjustment, suggesting that 30 seats, Karthikeya, this would interest you also, they could reach an understanding strategically, and the Congress said no. Now, if you look at these numbers, this is dead heat right now. Is this the latest that we have, Karthikeya? 150?
Yes. Tied.
Yeah.
There's no daylight between the two parties as of now. Yes.
Yeah. So the question of
sorry. AAP has now overtaken the BJP once again. 116 for the AAP, 114 for the BJP. Sorry, Nakul.
Okay.
And I will say sorry to you several times during this day.
No, please go ahead. No, I'm enjoying this.
We need to update those captions then, because the AAP is now in a slender lead. It's almost a tie, but actually the AAP is in a slender 2-seat lead ahead of the BJP. But I was talking about the absence of opposition unity, even in the face of a seemingly Teflon prime minister, whom, no sort of issue seems to be a political setback for him. Nakul, opposition unity, wither opposition unity?
I think that's a very important point you're making, because even say, for example, during the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, again, this is what one hears from insiders, and you can't name them, which is that, the AAP did try and reach out to there were people who were trying to negotiate some sort of a bargain between the AAP and the Congress, and that they were hoping that these parties would come together in the Lok Sabha elections. But the Congress was actually a lot less giving, lot less keen on any kind of unity, right? And I think the Congress is still to get over this hangover of being this pan-India dominant party. It isn't, right? So on the one hand, when you're taking out the Bharat Jodo Yatra and you understand the threat that, ultimately the BJP, which a lot of people and a lot of observers will tell you isn't somebody that really isn't a party. You're saying that democracy is in danger. A lot of people will tell you that with the BJP in power, democracy is in danger. A lot of autonomous institutions are compromised today. We're seeing targeting of activists and so on and so forth. We're seeing targeting of activists. We're seeing targeting of religious minorities and so on. But is the Congress serious electorally then to defeat them? Let's look at, say, for example, the civic polls that happened in Chandigarh just before the state assembly elections. The Congress had 7 seats in that. The AAP, I think, had about 13 seats, right? The Congress could have extended support, and they would have had the mayor in Chandigarh, right?
Yeah.
But the Congress just sat out. They refused to vote in that election. And finally, the BJP took control of the Chandigarh Municipal Corporation. So is the Congress serious about opposition unity? Over here in a situation in Chandigarh, like I'm saying, that we even saw a situation where the Congress could have very easily, in a post-poll alliance at least, come together to defeat the BJP. So is the Congress serious about defeating the BJP electorally? But again, coming back to those early leads, your ticker is showing that AAP has taken a fairly comfortable lead. Once again, they're, I think, on 127. So you might want to come in here.
I was just going to go to Karthikeya. That Karthikeya I have things begun to look up a little bit for the Aam Aadmi Party. Those are the latest figures we have now. The BJP doing much better than expected, but the AAP at this point somewhat, I won't say marching ahead, but skipping ahead.
So I think the ticker should say the Aam Aadmi Party has crossed the 50% mark.
Right.
This is the 50% mark. 125 is the 50% mark, and we'll soon say that. But again, Barkha, early days, very early days. But it seems like the Aam Aadmi Party is taking the lead again, which was the initial trend. Yet the gap is tenuous at best. It's tenuous at best, and the Aam Aadmi Party would expect a more convincing margin. But yes, the Aam Aadmi, as we are saying now, the Aam Aadmi Party has crossed the 50% mark. So if these trends hold, the Aam Aadmi Party will now come to power in MCD. But again, early days, these things have been switching around, as you've seen in the last 30 minutes. But I think another 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, and we can start explaining things probably with greater certainty. Yes.
I want you to talk in this context, Kartikeya, a little bit about the turnout. The turnout, this was not an enthusiastically participated in election. Now, it could be because it's a local election, but how might that have impacted these numbers and the performance of both of the parties? Well, I should say all three parties. So, but the two in contention for power.
Barkha, psephologists would tell you that to correlate turnout with anti-incumbency versus pro-incumbency is not the best way to analyze elections. Having said that, you're right that the turnout at 50% was lower than 2017. Right? So that is a little, and despite the fact that 2017 was a summer election, and we usually see summers are tougher for people to turn out, right? This was a winter election. But a lot of factors could be playing a role, right? As I said, usually you find that people are more interested in local elections when the government touches them directly in daily life. So the lower class, the middle class, the lower middle class, the lower class, they're the ones who turn out more. It's possible that the BJP's voter was also a little, disappointed or had a sort of fatigue because 15 years of BJP MCD rule. If you're a committed BJP voter, you don't want to vote against the BJP. But if you don't want to do that, you'll just sit home, right? So turnout reflects that. But in general, lack of enthusiasm, as a democracy, we should be worried. I think as a party, things could go either way. So I would not sort of draw that conclusion that this is a pro-incumbent or an anti-incumbent sort of turnout. But in general, this is not a good sign. But having said that, I think what will be interesting is to understand how the richer localities have seen a turnout versus the more sort of middle income and the poorer localities. And I think there you'll find the story where if there has been good turnout in the sort of middle income and the lower income localities, that is advantage Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, I'm going to try and go over to my colleague Harshit, who's at the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. Harshit, things have begun to look up for the Aam Aadmi Party. They're back in the lead. A lead badi nahi hai. It's 127 for the Aam Aadmi Party, but it's looking comfortable at this hour, even though numbers are going up and down. क्या आम आदमी पार्टी में थोड़ा सा जोश का माहौल वापस आया है, हर्षित? We have to unmute Harshit, please. 1 minute, Harshit. We need to unmute you. Let me do that for you. Harshit, आप अपनी तरफ से muted हैं. आप unmute your mic. Unmute your mic and let me just bring in Kartikeya on the latest numbers. Kartikeya?
So Barkha, at this point, we have Aam Aadmi Party just slipping below the 50% mark at 124. BJP at 116. Congress moving to 6. That is where the story will lie at the end of it, Barkha. Most exit polls, if I remember correctly, were giving Congress less than 10 votes. So if the Congress breaches that mark, it will start denting the Aam Aadmi Party. The recent numbers, the latest numbers are BJP 118, Aam Aadmi Party 124 and Congress 6. So BJP and AAP now separated by just 6 votes.
Wow. I am welcoming to the broadcast now Sayantan Ghosh. Sayantan, we were just talking, a few minutes ago, the BJP was in the lead. The AAP has now established a lead, but it's not close to the landslide image that was forecast or painted by the exit polls. Your early thoughts, Sayantan Ghosh?
Yes, hi Barkha.
Hi.
Good morning. And
good morning. Yeah.
So good morning to everybody. So I am also. So I was watching like NDTV. That's what I do. So whatever I'm seeing there, that the early trend. So I always believed when I watched the exit polls that the Delhi voters, what I witnessed as a journalist, the Delhi voters are very sharp while voting. So they will give a landslide victory in the MCD elections as projected by the exit polls. I was a bit skeptical about it because they understand that the issues are very local in nature. And if you see the trends in Delhi, the voters of Delhi has kept both the people, like both happy. Like the Aam Aadmi Party in assembly elections and Lok Sabha and MCD, they make happy the BJP. So that's why the MCD was ruled by the Bharatiya Janata Party for 15 years. So maybe there is anti-incumbency. So let's see what happens. But my early thoughts are it will be neck to neck, what I believe.
Yeah. Okay, let me just get an update from Kartiki on the latest position. Kartiki?
125, 125 Aam Aadmi Party, BJP 118, Congress 6, others debuting with 1. But Barkha, as we will quickly now show you the vote share slide, the Bharatiya Janata Party is at 35.6 as per the ECI website, which is different from these leads.
Yeah.
Aam Aadmi Party has risen to 45 and Congress has gone down to 14.8. So that is what I'm saying. The story will lie. BJP at the end of the day will maintain 35% plus minus 1%. We are confident about that. Aam Aadmi Party and Congress में जो जुगलबंदी होगी, that will determine Aam Aadmi Party's prospects in terms of seats or wards. So just 10 minutes back, when the Congress was at 18% and Aam Aadmi Party was at 42, 43%, Aam Aadmi Party was doing worse. Now, when the Congress's vote share has gone down to 14.8, Aam Aadmi Party's vote share looking up, and their seats are also looking up. To contextualize this for your viewers, the catchment area or the vote bank for the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress is the same. So it's a zero-sum game for the two parties, as you were discussing with Nakul. And so the better the Congress does, the worse the Aam Aadmi Party will do. Aam Aadmi Party at 125 right now, BJP 118, Congress 6 leads. And as I said, the interesting story is Congress is now touching the upper end of all the exit poll predictions in terms of wards. Because most exit polls were saying 3 to 7, 6 to 10. So the Congress is touching that upper end, which is not good news for the Aam Aadmi Party.
So can I sort of borrow that old cliche or from political lexicons? Is the Congress being a vote katua for the Aam Aadmi Party, Kartikeya?
Just out of respect for Sheila Dikshit ji's legacy, I would not want to use that word.
No, I mean in numbers.
It seems, yes, it does.
I mean no disrespect to anybody in the Congress.
Exactly. No. I'm just saying, having been a Delhi voter myself, seeing this tragic demise of the Congress is also, is as a really bad tribute to the memory of somebody like Sheila Dikshit ji. But yes, you are right. At this point now, we are dead heat again, Barkha. BJP 122, Aam Aadmi Party 122, Congress 6, others 2. But again, I would say we are now, at the beginning of the middle overs. The power play is done. Now we are beginning with the middle overs. So now things will start stabilizing, because as you can see, we have now, others is 0 now. We have leads coming from all 250 wards now. 122, 6, this others should say 0. We are updating it even as we speak. Yeah. But yes, the Congress at best will damage the Aam Aadmi Party's prospects in these elections. That's the unfortunate truth if you're a Congress supporter.
So let me get Sayantan and Nakul on this. The Congress is, I think Kartikeya made this point earlier, that what the Congress is doing effectively to the Aam Aadmi Party, and the Aam Aadmi Party could still win the MCD. We must say that. And I can see Khemchand Sharma of the BJP setting up to join. We should have him on in a moment. But there he is. Khemchand ji, namaskar, sir. नमस्कार. 1 मिनट में आपके पास आ रही हूँ लेटेस्ट नंबर्स, लेटेस्ट आंकड़े दिखाकर. लेकिन Nakul, if you want to come in on this, the Congress cutting into the AAP's prospects there, a quick comment there, and then I'll come to the BJP leader. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, true. But at the same time, I mean, this is the kind of rhetoric, this is the kind of lexicon we've heard from the Congress. They've almost been sulking in a lot of states where they've called, in Goa, they've called BJP, they've called, TMC and AAP B teams, because they contested against them and they said, they're eating into our votes. Yeah. They've said that about the Congress. I mean, they've said that about the AAP in a lot of states. Now, the point is that I think in electoral democracy and in a multi-party democracy like ours, any party that wants to stay relevant will contest elections. So over here as well, now the point is that if the Congress continues, I mean, if the Congress so strongly believes in its B team theories, then going by that theory, they shouldn't be contesting in Delhi either,
That's such a good point, that the Congress today could be called the B team of the BJP in the way that it calls all other parties the B team of the BJP. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you again, Nakul. I want to go to Khemchand ji of the BJP in a moment. Kartikeya, the latest numbers show the BJP back in the lead. Kartikeya, take us through the numbers.
Barkha, but you know, this is very tenuous, because I was just seeing in seats like Budh Vihar, the margin is 7 seats, 707. Very tenuous, but interesting trend, as you will put out on the banner very soon. In Manish Sisodia's own area, out of 4 wards, the Congress is leading in 2. That's very interesting, right? So, which is what I'm saying, that these trends need to stabilize, we need to give them some more time, and then probably clearer picture will emerge in the next 30 minutes or so. But as of now, BJP in the lead. They've in fact crossed the 50% margin point now. They're at 126. Aam Aadmi Party is 117. Congress 6, others 1. But these are still very narrow margins we are playing with.
खेमचंद जी, सबसे पहले तो आपको मैं इस समय आपकी टिप्पणी चाहती हूं, क्योंकि अप एंड डाउन सीसॉ जैसे नंबर्स रहे हैं पिछले 1 घंटे में, और अभी आपकी पार्टी इज बैक इन द लीड. बीजेपी इज लीडिंग, बट दिस इज अ क्लोज फाइट. हमें शायद आधा घंटा और देना पड़ेगा फॉर अ फुल पिक्चर टू इमर्ज. आपके फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्सेस खेमचंद जी.
Madam, since yesterday or day before yesterday, when exit poll were released, I was just talking like we are confident because we fought very well. About 1.5 million Karyakarta of Bharatiya Janata Party, they worked very hard in last 2-3 months. We reached each and every household. We talked about 3 things. We talked about our good work done by Narendra Modi ji. There are a lot of good work which were done by Narendra Modi ji for the Delhi. We have created the Eastern Western Peripheral Expressway, which reduced the traffic problem as well as the pollution problem in Delhi. We created the underpass and ITO. We have created the flyover onto the Dhola. We have created the flyover as well as the underpass in Okla. We were providing a free vaccine. About 3 crore 78 lakh vaccines were given in Delhi. We given the free ration, and 300 electric bus were given by Modi ji. So people were saying that a lot of seva work are getting done by the Modi ji. Even the household means the house for the poor people. So now then people started talking about the Delhi government, what they did, what they promised. So Delhi government was not able to answer properly because they promised a lot of things in 2015. But what they come out, they were not able to clean the Yamuna ji, they were not able to clean the air, they were not able to take the MCD. They were not able to help out the MCD financially, so MCD could increase or enhance their working, and they could not also increase the number of the DTC buses. The DTC buses when they started were about 6.5.
Are you confident, Khemchand ji? Are you confident of winning? सब आपके पीछे
We are confident.
लेकिन हाँ. Please look at these numbers. Khemchand ji, sorry. 1 minute can the banner come off. 130. नहीं, Khemchand ji, मैं latest numbers देना चाह रही थी. Vanshiraj ji of the Aam Aadmi Party is also with us. Khemchand ji, the BJP is now leading in 130 to the Aam Aadmi Party's 114. The Congress is at 5. We should have vote share breakups of this in a moment. Kartikeya, a quick comment, and I'll go back to Khemchand ji and to Vansh of the Aam Aadmi Party. Kartikeya?
Yeah, Aam Aadmi Party leading at on 114 wards, BJP 130. Barkha, as per the ECI website, BJP leading on 97, Aam Aadmi Party on 53, Congress on 5. So the BJP as of now seems to have crossed the 50% mark. But again, I would say we are now in that zone where trends will start to stabilize, but not for all wards. So we need to look out for these numbers. These are not the final numbers yet. But right now, BJP seems to have a comfortable lead over the Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, I want political reactions. Khemchand Sharma of the BJP, Vanshiraj Dubey of the Aam Aadmi Party. Khemchand ji, to you first. The exit polls seem to be right. Kartikeya Batra says in percentage, but not in seat conversion. Are you confident that you will be able to form the government? क्योंकि ऊपर नीचे सीसो की तरह पूरी सुबह ये numbers जा रहे हैं. Khemchand ji, पहले आप. Pun unintended. हाँ जी.
I think am I muted?
No, sir. We can hear you. Sir, 1 minute. Unmute Khemchand ji, please. 1 minute, Khemchand ji. Now you're muted. We could hear you. Sir, आप अपनी तरफ से muted हैं. Khemchand ji, you are muted at your side, please. Can you unmute yourself? Go ahead, sir. Yes.
So, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible? Please go ahead. Yes, sir.
So, madam, we are confident since we got a lot of support from the people. and we are not talking in the air, just like Aam Aadmi Party leaders are talking. And they have also like put it some poster kind of the things. So they are just in hurry. But Bharatiya Janata Party is logically talking, because in each and every board, I'm still saying, I'm not saying like we will have a 2/3 majority and all those things. We had a very close fight, and since we had a anti-incumbency because of 15 years we were ruling in a MCD. So, but at the same time, we did a lot of good work from the Narendra Modi government, from the central government, as well as the MCD within the limited resource did a good job. Then the people compare it with the Delhi government, what they promised, what they deliver. So that helped, because it was anti-incumbency against both the government,
So
state
you are
government as
saying,
well as the MCD government.
so you are saying it's going to be, it's a close fight, but you're confident of winning. And remember, this is a
Yeah.
15-year incumbency factor there that the BJP has had to contest. Can I just get a quick reaction from
There is a anti-incumbency against both men.
Yeah, sorry, Kartikeya numbers.
Barkha back to dead heat, 122 BJP, Aam Aadmi Party 121 leads, Congress 6. So very little daylight between the two leading parties in Delhi. BJP 122, Aam Aadmi Party 121. Sorry to cut you.
Okay, sorry, Khemchand ji, numbers are changing very quickly, so we wanted to update the numbers.
Madam, that I understand. That's what I'm saying. There's a very close fight, and the winning margin will be also thin. The only thing is the Congress is helping Aam Aadmi Party by just giving the help to them. They did not contest it as they should have.
अच्छा, आप कह रहे हैं कांग्रेस इज हेल्पिंग देम. सर सॉरी, मैं आपको इंटरप्ट कर रही हूँ क्योंकि आप कह रहे हैं कांग्रेस इज हेल्पिंग देम. हमारे विश्लेषक कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस ने ही आम आदमी पार्टी का नुकसान किया है. लेट मी गेट वंशराज हियर. वंशराज, एक मिनट
सर. vote for him.
Yes, I will. Can we have the vote share graphic also on this? But Vanshra Dubey, this is dead heat right now. ये landslide projection जो exit polls में थी, वो seat conversion के level पे तो true नहीं है. आप क्या कहेंगे वंशराज?
आप सभी को नमस्कार मेरा. देखिए, जो अभी खास करके जो अभी ये आंकड़े आप दे रहे हैं अपने चैनल्स पे, मुझे लगता है कि सुबह से जो एक तरीके से आप ट्रेंड देख रहे हैं अप्स एंड डाउन्स वाले, मुझे लगता है अभी आधे घंटे लगभग 1 घंटे के बाद स्थिति कुछ और स्पष्ट हो जाएगी. लेकिन जहां तक रही बात आम आदमी पार्टी के चुनाव लड़ने की, आपने देखा कि पूरे इस एमसीडी के चुनाव में आम आदमी पार्टी ने जहां मुद्दों की बात की, जहां आम आदमी पार्टी ने सबसे पहले मुद्दा उठाया कि जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने 3 कूड़े के पहाड़ दिल्ली को दिए, 15 साल से दिल्ली का एक तरीके से साफ सफाई के मामले में बेड़ा गर्क कर दिया, एमसीडी के स्कूल और एमसीडी के अस्पताल बर्बाद हो गए, लेंटर में मोटी दलाली खाई गई, ये तमाम मुद्दे थे. लेकिन बरखा, ये समय किसी आरोप प्रत्यारोप का नहीं है. हमारा ये मानना है कि अभी जो जनता ने आशीर्वाद दिया है, आम आदमी पार्टी को जो आशीर्वाद दिया है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जो दिया होगा, कांग्रेस को जो दिया होगा, वो 1 घंटे के बाद इस स्थिति और भी स्पष्ट हो जाएगी. लेकिन हम लोग बिल्कुल अस्वस्थ हैं क्योंकि 250 सीटों पर यानी 250 सीटों पर जो ये चुनाव हुआ है, जनता का जबरदस्त समर्थन, जबरदस्त प्यार आम आदमी पार्टी के पक्ष में हुआ है. आम आदमी पार्टी के पक्ष में जबरदस्त वोटिंग हुई है. तो मुझे लगता है कि अगले 40 मिनट में या यूं कह लीजिए कि 1 घंटे के बाद स्थिति कुछ और स्पष्ट हो जाएगी. अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के काम पर दिल्ली की जनता ने एक बार फिर से विश्वास जताया है. केजरीवाल जी की सरकार,
अच्छा एक मिनट वंशराज जी, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, बोथ यू एंड खेमचंद जी आर एक्नॉलेजिंग कि बहुत क्लोज फाइट है. अगर इस समय आप कांग्रेस के बारे में कुछ कहना चाहें, क्योंकि कांग्रेस की 6 सीट तो है लेकिन वोट शेयर के तौर पर शायद ज्यादा नुकसान आपको पहुंचा है, तो इस पे एक मिनट. कार्तिक, यू हैव एन अपडेट बिफोर वंशराज?
आम आदमी पार्टी बैक इन द लीड, 125, टचिंग द 50% mark. BJP 119, Congress 6. And we'll also show you the vote share numbers very soon. But Bharatiya Janata Party clocking 36.7%, Aam Aadmi Party 44.1%, and INC 14.3%. Those numbers from the ECI, but these numbers from different sources. But Aam Aadmi Party right now is touching that 50% mark once again. So it's a seesaw. I would agree with the BJP spokesperson. It will be a tight battle. Even the margins will be very narrow. These are small wards, Barkha, for sure, right? So you expect the margins to be very narrow. So 125 for the, in fact, even as we speak, AAP is ahead in 127, BJP 117.
Okay, so that's AAP ahead in 10 of the seats. Vanshraj Dubey, please complete your point. मैं आपसे कांग्रेस के बारे में पूछना चाह रही थी कि कांग्रेस के अलग कॉन्टेस्ट से आपको क्या नुकसान पहुंचा है? वंशराज
जी, बरखा जी, देखिए, कांग्रेस किसी दल का या यूं कह लीजिए कि आम आदमी पार्टी का नुकसान नहीं कर सकती। कांग्रेस तो खुद का ही नुकसान कर रही है। कांग्रेस के नेता उसके लिए सक्षम है। और दूसरी चीज आप देखिए कि पूरे चुनाव में कांग्रेस जो खुद लगभग 2 राज्यों में जहां जिनकी सरकार है, जो ऑलरेडी 2 राज्यों में, अलग से 2 राज्यों में चुनाव लड़ रहे थे, उनके अनाप शनाप तर्क हैं। आप सोचिए, अगर बेरोजगारी पे बात करेंगे, आप महंगाई पे बात करेंगे, आप जो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की योजना है उस पर बात करेंगे, तो कांग्रेसी चिढ़ाते हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी को कहते हैं कि खैरात बांट रहे हैं। और यही लोग हिमाचल प्रदेश में जाकर 300 यूनिट बिजली फ्री कर देंगे, किसानों के लिए ये कर देंगे। तो कांग्रेस, आज जो कांग्रेस का हाल है, मुझे लगता है कि कांग्रेस को कांग्रेस के ही हाल पे छोड़ देना चाहिए। उन्होंने G21, G23 पता नहीं क्या क्या बनाया है खुद को लड़ने के लिए। तो मुझे लगता है कि अभी भारत जोड़ो यात्रा चल रही है, एक तरफ भारत जोड़ो यात्रा चल रही है, दूसरी तरफ कांग्रेस छोड़ो यात्रा चल रही है। तो कांग्रेस को कांग्रेस के हाल पे ही छोड़ देना उचित रहेगा। रही बात जहां का,
शायद यू एंड बीजेपी में एग्री ऑन दैट वन थिंग, लेकिन मैं खेमचंद जी को इस समय आई वांट टू ब्रिंग हिम इनटू द कन्वर्सेशन। खेमचंद जी, आप तो कह रहे थे कि कांग्रेस इनकी सहायता कर रही है, लेकिन हमारे जो एनालिस्ट हैं वो तो कहते हैं कि नुकसान ही हुआ है। अगेन आप इज बैक इन द लीड, ये पिछले 5 मिनट में अप एंड डाउन जा रहा है। खेमचंद जी,
अब ये सोचने का तरीका है, गिलास आधा खाली आधा भरा हुआ है
जी।
अब आम आदमी पार्टी ये सोचे कि कांग्रेस अपने आप को दिल्ली से हटा ले और 21 का 21% वोट शेयर उनको मिल जाए, तो उनको लगेगा कि हाँ नुकसान हो रहा है। लेकिन आप लास्ट इलेक्शन से कंपेयर करेंगे, कांग्रेस के पास 21% वोट शेयर था और अभी कितना है, लगभग 12-13%। तो जो बाकी का वोट शेयर है वो कहाँ जा रहा है, वो आम आदमी पार्टी की तरफ गया है, क्योंकि कांग्रेस ने चुनाव लड़ा ही नहीं। मैदान में उनके प्रत्याशी अपने ऑफिस को 2-3 दिन पहले बंद करके बैठ गए, उनके बड़े लीडर्स आए नहीं, उन्होंने अपनी बातों को रखा नहीं। तो क्योंकि उनको पता था, उन्होंने डिसाइड किया था कि हमें आम आदमी पार्टी की हेल्प करनी है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को रोकना है। अगर आम आदमी पार्टी को उनको रोकना होता या टक्कर देनी होती या उसके खिलाफ बातें करनी होती, तो कांग्रेस को जान लगाती। कांग्रेस अगर जान लगाती तो जो आम आदमी पार्टी का ट्रेडिशनल वोटर है वो कटता, और आम आदमी पार्टी जिस स्थिति में आज दिख रही है उस स्थिति में नहीं होती। भारतीय जनता पार्टी लेकर
मेरा एक सवाल आपके लिए है कि बीजेपी असेंबली में 1998 से पावर में नहीं रही, पहले कांग्रेस की 3 टर्म्स, अब अरविंद केजरीवाल की डोमिनेशन है। अगर आप आज एमसीडी नहीं जीत पाते तो क्या यह दिल्ली बीजेपी के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती बन जाएगी?
चुनौती तो है इसमें, अब मैं कहूँ चुनौती नहीं है तो मेरे कहने से चुनौती हट जाएगी, ऐसा नहीं होता। चुनौती है और हम लोग चुनौती हमने स्वीकार भी की। अगर हम कंपेयर करें विधानसभा से तो हमारी ज्यादा से ज्यादा 30-40 सीट आनी चाहिए थी, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने मेहनत की। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने सड़कों पे लोगों के बीच में लोगों के मुद्दों के लिए लड़ाई लड़ी। हम लोगों ने जो ठेके शराब के गली गली में केजरीवाल जी ने खोल दिए थे वो बंद कराए। जनता का प्यार हमें मिला, समर्थन हमें मिला, जनता का साथ हमें मिला, और उसी का परिणाम है कि आज हम फाइट दे रहे हैं। आज केजरीवाल जी को ये पता चल गया कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी भी दिल्ली में है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ लोग खड़े हैं, और आप निरंकुश होकर दिल्ली में काम नहीं कर सकते। आपको जो अपने किए हुए वादे हैं उस पर पुनर्विचार करना पड़ेगा, काम करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो आने वाले इलेक्शन में आपका सुपड़ा साफ हो जाएगा।
Ji. I just want to bring in Vanshraj quickly and then Sayantan and Nakul. This is what it looks like, a slender lead for the Aam Aadmi Party at 124 to the BJP's 119. Vanshraj, अगर मैं आपको अपना मूड पूछूं, आज आपका मूड, are you tense? Are you nervous? क्योंकि एग्जिट पोल्स में तो foregone conclusion था, उस तरह का foregone conclusion हमें इन क्लोज फाइट में नहीं दिख रहा।
नहीं बरखा, आप इस बात को समझिए कि जब एग्जिट पोल के एक तरीके से नतीजे सामने आ रहे थे, तब पर भी हम लोग यही कह रहे थे कि नहीं, जो एग्जिट पोल के नतीजे हैं उससे कहीं आगे आम आदमी पार्टी की सीट्स आने वाली है। और ये कोई टेंशन लेने वाली बात नहीं है। आम आदमी पार्टी के लिए तो आज और 2 दिन लगातार बहुत अच्छे जाने वाले हैं। आम आदमी पार्टी राष्ट्रीय पार्टी बनने वाली है। दूसरा, एक चीज आप इस बात को समझिए कि इस बार हम लोग की जो लड़ाई एमसीडी के अंदर थी, वो भले ही आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार 8 साल से दिल्ली के अंदर में है, लेकिन 15 साल से भारतीय जनता पार्टी एमसीडी पर कब्जा करके बैठी थी। तो ये जो कुछ भी आम आदमी पार्टी की सीटें आ रही हैं, आप इसको एक बढ़त के तौर पे समझिए। और मैं फिर से इस बात को कह रहा हूं, कभी 1 घंटे के बाद, चूंकि दिल्ली के लगभग सारे वार्डों में मेरा खुद का जाना हुआ, वहां की जनता जो त्रस्त है और जिस तरीके से कूड़े का सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा पूरी दिल्ली के अंदर है, आप जिस भी गली से निकलेंगे कूड़ा दिखने को मिलेगा। अगर मैंने जमीन पे देखा कि जो भी व्यक्ति जिसकी इनकम 25 से 30 हजार रुपए है, कैसे करके वो बेचारा अपना एक बोरी
लेकर। तो आप कह रहे हैं कि 1 घंटे बाद आपको लगता है पिक्चर थोड़ी ज्यादा साफ होगी। कार्तिकेय, लेटेस्ट नंबर्स बिफोर नकुल एंड सयंतन कम इन। कार्तिकेय,
अगेन बैक टू अ डेड हीट Barkha, 122 to both the parties, Aam Aadmi Party and BJP. Congress at 5. So once again, we are back to a tie. But I would agree that, some of these seats are still early trends, but we are now entering that phase where trends will start to stabilize in another 20 minutes.
But it can be said, at least till we know the margins, that the BJP therefore has put up a much better fight than the exit polls had said, Karthikeyan.
I would say yes and no. Why would I say that? In terms of vote share, the BJP is exactly where the exit polls had predicted it. Okay. But in terms of seat share, the Aam Aadmi Party is not being able to convert their votes into seats as of now.
Yeah.
That probably has to do with the interaction between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. And when the final results come out, more than the BJP versus Aam Aadmi Party, you need to understand what the Aam Aadmi Party versus the Congress fight will look like.
So this is how the vote share split at the moment looks like, and this is the point that Karthikeyan was making, that 14% or a little over 14% that the Congress is currently picking up is possibly the reason that the AAP has not been able to convert as many seats as the exit polls had forecast. It still could. Vanshra Dubey of the Aam Aadmi Party says, "एक घंटा इंतजार करिए." Khemchand Sharma भी वही कह रहे हैं. Sayantan, your thoughts?
Barkha, even as we speak, Aam Aadmi Party back in the lead, 126 to BJP's 117. So Aam Aadmi Party again for 50% mark. It is still very close. We're in a very narrow range, but the Aam Aadmi Party again picking up ahead of the BJP.
Okay, but these are very, very narrow leads. It's 126 to 117. Sayantan, please go ahead, and then Nakul. Sayantan.
Yes. So the thing what I feel is that the Congress factor is I think it's a fact. Generally, the Aam Aadmi Party from the time of its inception, they took the Congress votes. Like for example, in 2020 election, if you see, the Aam Aadmi Party received 53% votes, like the assembly elections, and Congress was 4.26%. Okay. So now if the Congress, because right now what you are showing that the 44% is around 14%. So I think these are the votes which go here and there. Okay, this is the floating thing.
So it's interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. So now if what happened in the exit poll, if that becomes true, then the Aam Aadmi Party has also taken the BJP votes. Not only fully utilized the Congress vote, and also taken the entire majority of the BJP.
Can I get Nakul and then go to Vanshra Dubey on this point and to Khemchand? Go ahead, Nakul. I think Karthik is making this point again and again and again, that we have to see we also have to see the fault lines between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress as we try and understand this election.
No, I agree. And I also feel that, in this sort of seesaw that we're seeing right now, the elections are a lot closer than we had imagined, and at least what the exit polls had suggested. So I think it'll take at least another half an hour, 45 minutes before the numbers sort of begin to stabilize. And also the other thing is that, a lot of psephologists, this is why a lot of psephologists are sometimes scared to do a vote percentage to seat conversion, because it's not actually as scientific as a lot of psephologists would have you believe. It's sometimes, and because, if you look at the vote percentages, it's exactly what the exit polls had suggested. But the seats are, the seats, of course, it's a much closer competition in terms of seat share. Of course, this will take some time to stabilize, like we just discussed. Again, coming back to that point about the Congress, and I think Sayan is making an important point, that if Congress is being able to retain a sort of 13%, 14% vote so far, then what is evident is that there is a swing vote, some of which would go to the BJP as well. But actually, if you look at this and if you look at the results so far, then the Aam Aadmi Party has actually been able to eat into a section of the BJP vote as well. At least that sort of fence-setter swing vote, which would move towards the BJP, right? So to assume that because also if you look at, even if you look at Gujarat, in a state like Gujarat. Now, of course, Delhi and Gujarat are vastly different. I'm not making those comparisons, but at least according to exit polls, there is a section of the Patel vote that the Aam Aadmi Party, a section of the OBC vote that the which are traditional BJP votes in Gujarat, that the Aam Aadmi Party seems to have made a dent in. We'll know that better tomorrow. So to assume that, yes, it is true that wherever the AAP has grown, it has grown possibly at the expense of the Congress. There's no denying that, right?
Okay,
But
so
to
the latest
assume
figure,
yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry. The latest
No,
figures
please
now
go ahead.
126 for the Aam Aadmi Party, 117 for the BJP, and 6 for the Congress. Khemchand ji, बहुत सवाल उठ
Barkha,
रही
sorry,
है
Barkha, this is also changed. This is changed. 123, 120, and I think the 123 is for the Aam Aadmi Party is what we are picking up, and 120 for the BJP. The gap is narrowing further. I'll just add 2 more points, Barkha, before you get in, Khemchand ji. One of the reasons that you are mentioning vis-a-vis the exit poll, I see 2 differences. I see the exit poll getting Aam Aadmi Party vote share spot on, but I see 2 differences. One, the Congress is doing 3 to 4 percentage points better than expected in the exit polls. A. Second, the space for chota mota parties and independents has shrunk. The Access My India poll gave 12% vote to the chota mota parties and independents. As of now, we are picking up no more than 7% for those outfits. So that vote has also been picked up. The BJP is doing 2 percentage points better than the exit poll suggested. So it's a combination of multiple factors that's playing in right now. But again, early days, exit polls to do a more comprehensive study. This is still early days on several seats, but I just wanted to break this. Yeah, back to you, Barkha.
Okay.
BJP back in the lead. 122 BJP, 121 Aam Aadmi Party.
This is Khemchand ji like a cricket commentary instead of political commentary. It's changing ball to ball. Literally, it's changing with every round of counting. But the question I had for you, Khemchand ji, is the role of the Congress. क्योंकि दोनों ही आपकी पार्टीज जो हैं वो कुछ और ही आरोप लगा रही हैं कांग्रेस के बारे में. You are saying the Congress helps the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party says the Congress and the BJP have a rishta. आप क्या कहेंगे on the role of the Congress as these seats go up and down? Khemchand Sharma. Sir, unmute please. Now we can hear you now, sir. Yeah.
I would like to just say the truth. Now elections are over. I don't want to make a large and false comments here. The truth is, Aam Aadmi Party is getting a indirect help from the Congress. If Congress senior leadership, resources have been put it on a ground, they could have eaten up more votes of the Aam Aadmi Party easily because they are the traditional vote. I have seen on even in many wards, the Congress worker, because they knew they were instructed, had joined the Aam Aadmi Party leaders and workers on the day of the voting. I have seen them. You could see them on the table. So Aam Aadmi Party had a close association, maybe indirectly or directly, the association with the Congress. So BJP, they knew this time Bharatiya Janata Party is fighting the election very well, and there is a heavy anti-incumbency against the Aam Aadmi Party state government because they did nothing, and they are heavily involved into the corruption, and they are breaching their own standards on corruption because they used to say if you are excused by anyone and there are some substantial evidence, then you must resign. But now there the evidence, court is refusing the bail of the minister, but he's in a jail. Yeah, please.
Yes, Satyendra Jain. Yeah, can I just jump in here because you have said the Congress is indirectly helping the Aam Aadmi Party. Arvind Kejriwal, I'm just going to play out a little clip from an interview with me, says कि actually इन दोनों की तो आपस में कुछ understanding है. I just want to play that clip and get reactions as we wait for these numbers to settle down. Literally neck and neck. Now at the moment, a one seat lead for the Aam Aadmi Party. Kartikeya, unless you have something more. No, is that wrong?
BJP. Yes. Sorry, Barkha. Every second we are becoming wrong from the previous second. So BJP 126 now, crossing the 50% mark. Aam Aadmi Party 117, as the ticker is showing you or the banner is showing you. Congress leading on 6.
Okay, I can see Sanjay Jha, Congress lapsed Congress spokesperson, setting up oh, there he is, to join us. Good morning, Sanjay. This is Sanjay. Before I play out that Arvind Kejriwal clip, I know you to be a cricket fan, almost more than you're a sort of politician. How would you describe this morning in this crazy seesaw?
Well, first and foremost, Barkha, I need to concede that I learnt my politics while being in the cricket space. Um, all the veterans were there, and you know that all political parties have completely, shall we say, made a gold mine out of that cricket feast. But yeah, I mean, frankly, this is defying at least the exit polls. I mean, everyone was talking about hurricane sweep for the Aam Aadmi Party. But,
Yeah.
Barkha, if you look at the data for Delhi in all the assembly elections, even when BJP hasn't won any state election for a long time now, they always get a core 30 to 32% of the vote share. And that basically is what will always keep the BJP in the game. And I think one needs to recognize that end of day, yes, in an assembly election, the Aam Aadmi Party won because once again it's a function of the the constituency, size, how much is the Congress relevant or not relevant. The margins are always low. But the BJP is a formidable force in Delhi. Let's not try and discount that. And it is apparent, right? And if you look at the Lok Sabha elections, all the votes of the Aam Aadmi Party never translates into a parliamentary seat. So the voter there in Delhi, probably a more enlightened one, I say that reluctantly despite being a Mumbaiker, is the fact that I think they're making their choices based on local, based on national, based on
Sanjay, the point that's being made here is that the exit polls probably got the trajectory of the vote shares correct, but not the seat conversion. And the party that you actually support, the Congress, is damaging the Aam Aadmi Party's chances at forming the government. By the way, the latest numbers are the BJP in the lead in 126 seats to AAP's 117. Sanjay, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, very quickly. I'll tell you the Congress is probably a classic case study in terms of how you should never be in opposition. I mean, you look at the example, Barkha, of Delhi itself. It's a remarkable case study of how for 3 terms you win back-to-back elections. And one of the few, examples, Barkha, where probably there was almost a bipartisan agreement. Forget some corruption allegations that came up during the Commonwealth Games, which never got corroborated, by the way. But where they talked about a state that developed under some good leadership and governance. And for the Congress to be wiped off in Delhi is a manifestation of a serious internal crisis.
Well,
of
the
not
Congress
being
is
able to
leading in
project
7
itself.
seats, Sanjay, and while it may be irrelevant by itself, Karthike was making the point that the Congress has done to the AAP in Delhi what the AAP has done to the Congress in Gujarat. So I just want your quick comment on that, and then Vanshraj Dubey of the Aam Aadmi Party. Sanjay?
Well, Barkha, my short point. I mean, the Congress, if it has got to do what AAP did if you're becoming a vote cutter party, as they call it, that tells you of the decline of the grand old party. And I'll give you one example before the others come in.
Yeah.
Gujarat, since 1995, the Congress has been in wilderness. And I'll give you a couple of more states. Bihar and UP since the late 1980s, early 90s. West Bengal, let's not even talk about it. Tamil Nadu, let's not even talk about it. Don't forget Odisha, not there since 2000. You really look at these states and you ask yourself a fundamental question. If you add up now Andhra and Telangana, the Congress, once it gets into opposition, is not able to make a comeback. And if you aggregate all these states, Barkha, including Delhi, the Congress basically has marginalized itself in 300 Lok Sabha constituencies. That, to me, is the biggest statement emerging from all these elections.
Okay. Vanshraj ji, like I said, up and down, the AAP now at 118, the BJP at 121. Are you still hopeful?
हाँ बिल्कुल, देखिए अभी जैसा मैं देख रहा था आंकड़े आपके यहाँ, अभी तो 127 पे आम आदमी पार्टी थी, फिर 117 पे बीजेपी हुई, फिर वो जस्ट उल्टा पुल्टा हो गया, 127 पे बीजेपी चली गई, 117 पे आम आदमी पार्टी आ गई। तो मुझे लगता है अभी थोड़ा सा एक 40 मिनट का और टाइम चाहिए होगा इसको थोड़ा सा स्थिर होने में। 2-3 चीजें और मैं यहाँ पे पॉइंट करना चाहूंगा। अभी बीजेपी के प्रवक्ता तो मुझे लगता है चले गए यहाँ से। वो बार बार आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि एक मोहब्बत है आम आदमी पार्टी की कांग्रेस के साथ और कांग्रेस सपोर्ट करती है आम आदमी पार्टी के साथ। इस पूरे चुनाव में बरखा जी आपने देखा कि गुजरात से लेकर हिमाचल और दिल्ली के अंदर आपने देखा कि किस तरीके से भारतीय जनता पार्टी प्रमोट कर रही थी कांग्रेस को। पहली बात 27 साल में नरेंद्र मोदी जी बार बार कह रहे थे कि हमारी तो फाइट कांग्रेस से है। और दूसरा, दिल्ली के अंदर कांग्रेस सपोर्ट कर रही थी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को। तो ये जो मोहब्बत है, और कई राज्यों में आपने देखा है कि गोवा के अंदर 11 सीट आती है कांग्रेस को, तो 8 भाग जाते हैं बीजेपी में। यानी जहां भी कांग्रेस अभी एमसीडी के चुनाव में आप देखिएगा कि अगर इनको लगेगा कि कुछ कम हो रहा है तो हो सकता है इनको खरीद लें, पार्षद को भी खरीद सकते हैं। हिमाचल प्रदेश के अंदर भी यही होने वाला है, गुजरात के अंदर भी यही होने वाला है। तो कांग्रेस और बीजेपी की मोहब्बत तो पूरा देश जानता है कि किस तरीके से एक दूसरे से मिलजुल कर ये लोग सरकार चलाते हैं। तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने जो इलू इलू वाली बात कही थी वो बिल्कुल सही बात है कि आज ये दोनों मिलके एक तरीके से नहीं चाहते कि तीसरा कोई फ्रंट है। और एक छोटा सा सबमिशन और मेरा ये है कि देखिए, कोई स्टेट किसी भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लिए या कोई पुरानी पार्टी हो उसकी बपौती नहीं है। मतलब मैं बहुत स्टेट अगर इस बात को रखूं कि जनता है, जनता जिसको चाहेगी उसको आगे लाएगी। मैं भले ही हम लोग कहते रह जाए कि दिल्ली आम आदमी पार्टी की, तो नहीं, दिल्ली आम आदमी पार्टी की बपौती नहीं। इस बात को आपको समझिए, दिल्ली की जनता आम आदमी पार्टी को प्यार करती है, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की नीतियों को प्यार करती है, इसलिए अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को जिता रही है। गुजरात की भी जनता प्यार करेगी, गुजरात की जनता जिताएगी। तो ये कोई अगर कह रहा है कि हमारा वोट कटवा पार्टी आम आदमी पार्टी है या कांग्रेस ने किसी का वोट काट लिया, मुझे लगता है ये बात गलत है। जनता तय करती है कौन सत्ता में आएगा और कौन विपक्ष में बैठे।
ये आपने अच्छी बात कही कि हर पार्टी को एक हक है अपनी एम्बिशंस, अपनी आइडियोलॉजी, अपनी आइडेंटिटी को परस्यू करने का। इस समय बीजेपी एक सीट से आगे है और ये बार बार ऊपर नीचे, सीसॉ like a seesaw, it's going up and down. A lot of focus on the role of the Congress. I want to play out a little clip of Arvind Kejriwal and his argument here that the BJP fears the Aam Aadmi Party much more than it fears the Congress. Listen.
But are you upset that the Congress is fighting? वो अपना ही कोई अकेले, वो कहते हैं ना एकला चलो, वो अपने ही रास्ते में है।
कांग्रेस तो बची नहीं है।
गुजरात
बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, एक तरफ बीजेपी कहती है कि हमने कांग्रेस मुक्त भारत कर दिया, अब कांग्रेस नहीं है, और गुजरात चुनाव में कहती है नहीं कांग्रेस है, कांग्रेस है। कांग्रेस को जिंदा रखने के लिए बीजेपी पूरी कोशिश कर रही है।
आपने एक आरोप लगाया है कि गुजरात में बीजेपी और कांग्रेस की कोई अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, ये आपको क्यों लगता है?
27 साल से चल क्या रहा है, जनता भी देख रही है 27 साल से क्या चल रहा है। मतलब इतनी ज्यादा जनता नाराज है बीजेपी से, इतनी ज्यादा नाराज है, उसके बावजूद भी कांग्रेस की सरकार क्यों नहीं बन रही है? कांग्रेस सरकार बनाना ही नहीं चाहती है।
क्यों?
जितने बनते हैं वो सारे उनकी जेब में चले जाते हैं, उनके वहां। इस बार सितंबर के महीने तक लगभग सारे कांग्रेस के नेता बीजेपी ज्वाइन करने वाले थे। फिर सितंबर में इनको बीजेपी को लगने लगा कि आम आदमी पार्टी बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रही है, इनके वोट को काटना जरूरी है, अगर सारी कांग्रेस इधर आ गई तो इसका स्वीप हो जाएगा। तो उन्होंने कांग्रेस के नेताओं को कहा वहीं रहो, वहीं से लड़ो चुनाव। तो कांग्रेस के नेता भी बीजेपी वाले लड़वा रहे हैं, बीजेपी के नेता भी बीजेपी वाले लड़वा रहे हैं, और इनमें से जितने कांग्रेस वाले जीतेंगे वो तुरंत देखना 24 घंटे भी नहीं लगेंगे, वो सारे बीजेपी में चले जाएंगे।
So this is the other thing we haven't actually considered, that if it is a very, very close outcome, could you see this sort of switching of the kind that Arvind Kejriwal is actually alluding to? But also to his larger point, Sanjay Jha, I want to get you in, and then Vanshraj has already made a similar point, that the BJP would rather have the Congress as an opposition, whether it be it in Gujarat or in Delhi, than the Aam Aadmi Party. It fears the AAP more. The AAP is probably cleverer at borrowing from the BJP's own playbook to take them on. Sanjay?
Well, 2 points here, Barkha. Firstly, I think Arvind Kejriwal is being clever by half. He is highly disingenuous here. In Punjab, it was the Congress's own internal mammoth, almost absurd blunders that gave away Punjab to the Aam Aadmi Party. What is the Aam Aadmi Party doing? It is basically going to Himachal, Gujarat, everywhere, where they see the Congress as a low-hanging fruit. Disorganized, inept leadership, lack of hunger, and they believe they can pick up the votes of the Congress closer or quicker than probably they can do of the BJP. It is in politics, let me tell you, Barkha, everyone who's your competition is treated with equal aggression or disdain or with kind of concern, whichever option you choose. So I think it's wrong to say that the BJP fears X or Y. If you're in party, you want to defeat all your opposition. First, that's a fact that cannot be denied. I think where the Aam Aadmi Party is damaging the Congress, and I have said it before and I'll say it again, the Congress in Gujarat, where I think it has actually fought a campaign with a lot of headwinds, terrible headwinds to be frank, and yet its organizational base, after being in opposition for 27 years, is good enough for it to still be in the game. And that tells you how the Congress basically is self-destructed, because it has never got itself galvanized enough. And I think Arvind Kejriwal got a narrative. His narrative was that in Gujarat, where people are extreme, by the way, let me tell you, there's high anti-incumbency in Gujarat. Think about it, Barkha. So many years in power, and everybody says, anti-incumbency, and despite that, BJP wins. But there's a flip side argument that this is a state from where Narendra Modi and Amit Shah come. There's muscle, there's machinery, there is state power. They have completely, shall we say, carpet bombed Gujarat. And yet, if you look at the exit polls, BJP's vote share may be coming down to 44%. And in a bipolar contest, essentially, 56% of Gujarat does not want the BJP. And therefore, this is a message to the Congress party that you have failed in the past to galvanize yourself, giving up an opportunity to come and tell the people of Gujarat, I know you want change. Congress can't do it. Give it to me. And therefore, in the Gujarat results that you'll see probably tomorrow, that is the verdict of the people of Gujarat. We want change, but the Congress is failing, giving up a window to come in. Although Congress, in my opinion, can still galvanize itself. Himachal is where I think tomorrow is the real issue for the Congress. If the Congress manages to win Himachal tomorrow, I think the story could still be different. One, that the Congress wins Himachal away from BJP. MCD is almost hung. I still think AAP will pull ahead, in my opinion. Number three, that Gujarat, the vote share of the BJP is down, and it will probably have a galvanized Congress because it has to save itself from the AAP as well. So the narrative is still open. We'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Okay. At the moment, we have the Aam Aadmi Party ahead in one seat, as PKD Nambiar joins us here. Good morning, Mr. Nambiar. This has turned out to be a much more sort of interesting from the point of view of journalists, certainly. But for the Aam Aadmi Party, there are going to be some very nervous moments. The polls had forecast a very different kind of scenario. Your first comments, Mr. Nambiar.
Well, this was, I was expecting not even this much of this kind of a result for the BJP, because for the first time in the 70 years of local body election, there is an exit poll. And there is definitely that there is Arvind Kejriwal in Delhi and his team has been able to create a very good narrative about with this cleaning or the waste management or the pahad of kudas and etc. But one thing I will tell you, 15 years later also a party is able to pull up at least doing almost fairly a neck-to-neck kind of a fight. That means BJP is in the game. Please note one thing very clear, that in Delhi, BJP do not have that kind of a charismatic leader. They have not been in the state in the power almost 23 years, like as Sanjay ji was talking about the Congress in Gujarat. 23, 24 years they have not been in power. Gone are those days, V.K. Malhotra, Madanlal Khurana, or after that era, or the post Sheila Dikshit era, there is no real.
That's a very important point. So if the BJP agreed, it hasn't actually been in the assembly since 1998 when Sushma Swaraj briefly led the BJP government in Delhi. Now, my question to you, PKD, is this: if after all this seesaw, up and down, close fights, all of that, if the AAP does take the MCD, does that create a serious crisis for the Delhi BJP? This is India's national capital. This is the seat of the central government. The BJP has been in a very high voltage collision course with the Aam Aadmi Party. It's levied all kinds of corruption allegations against the AAP. If after all that the AAP does win, even if by a narrow margin, what does it mean for the Delhi BJP?
I don't know whether no BJP man will be expecting this from me, but I will tell you it will be in the interest of the BJP. If they lose even in a tight margin, then that will give an opportunity for the BJP to really revamp the existing political system of BJP in the state. Whereas look at that, like in UP, they have Yogi, or in Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan. and many other places they have created a second level of leadership, which is charismatic leadership, who have got their own on in their name, they can get votes. Or but that is not in the case of BJP in Delhi. You can't even name at least 5 names. So I think BJP needs to really work hard within Delhi. But I can only say that there is a law. If this is the kind of figure what we are showing in the neck to neck, 120. One thing more, there is one is the BJP what is absolutely intact, but the Congress completely nowhere in the scene, and there is an anti BJP vote along with the Congress vote. And of course, I would always say anti-BJP and anti-Congress vote has become was the Aam Aadmi Party as a whole. Plus, along with that, the completely Congress washing out. Then still, if the BJP is able to hold on to a neck-to-neck fight, that's very, very interesting. So that means in 2024.
No, it is definitely, it is definitely interesting, and it's you make a very important point. Can anyone even name 5 prominent BJP Delhi leaders? And I think the closest anyone would come to is Manoj Tiwari possibly, and that would probably be it. Vanshiraj ji, you are back in a narrow lead. Your party is back in a narrow lead. लेकिन ये जिसको कहते हैं पिक्चर अभी बाकी है, आप क्या बोलेंगे?
हाँ बिल्कुल, अभी पिक्चर अभी बाकी है। और एक चीज आपने देखा कि इस पूरे चुनाव में आपने पहले से ही भारतीय जनता पार्टी की मंशा को देखा कि किस तरीके से तीनों एमसीडी को एकीकरण करने की बात हो, 17 से ज्यादा इनके मंत्रियों को और 7 से ज्यादा मुख्यमंत्री को उतारने की बात हो, गली गली पर्चे बांटने की बात हो, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने तो पूरी ताकत लगाई। लेकिन जो आंकड़े और जो एग्जिट पोल बता रहे हैं, मुझे लगता है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बार मुंह की खाने वाली एमसीडी के चुनाव के अंदर। ठीक है, जो अभी आपके टीवी स्क्रीन पे जो चैनल पे अभी आपके आंकड़े चल रहे हैं, मुझे लगता है कि अगले आधे घंटे के बाद स्थिति और स्पष्ट हो जाएगी।
Okay, Karthikeya, I just want you to take us through the numbers, and then we'll open this up for why this has become such a high prestige battle. Is the AAP now positioning itself to be the principal challenger to the BJP? Does the BJP dislike the AAP more than the Congress? And if so, why? Karthikeya, first, the latest numbers with you. Karthikeya.
Barkha, Aam Aadmi Party leading 120, BJP 118, and these trends are now stabilized for some time. Congress leading on 7. But if you look at the strike rates, right? So we were just going to put up that very quickly. In 2017, because we had 270 seats that went to polls, not 272 because 2 could not be done at the time. The BJP strike rate back then was 67%. Congress at 11%, Aam Aadmi Party was 18%. At this point, both the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP strike rate is roughly the same. So they're touching on in that margin of 45 to 50%. But I would still say that these are still, I would now not say these are early leads. We're past that point, I guess. But now you come to the point where rounds matter. So who votes when? That matters. So if you think that the Aam Aadmi Party voter turned out at the last moment, or the BJP voter turned out at the last moment, then you might see a trend one way or the other, or they might cancel out each other. But as of now, it's dead heat between the two. Neither of them crossing the majority mark. Aam Aadmi Party with a slender lead of 2 ahead of the BJP. So Aam Aadmi Party at 120, BJP 118. I cannot stress enough, Barkha, at the end of the day, the story will lie in how the Congress fared versus the Aam Aadmi Party. And these figures again showing you. The other interesting part, Barkha, is that versus the exit poll, the BJP seems to be doing better by 3 percentage points, which is not trivial, by the way. The Congress seems to be doing better by 1 to 2 percentage points. The Aam Aadmi Party is spot on as per the exit polls at 43%.
Only on vote share, not on seat conversion.
Exactly, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And as I said, the space for the chota mota parties and the independents, like in other states, even in Delhi, has shrunk, it seems.
Yeah, I want to get a quick comment from Nakul and Sayantan, and then go back to Sanjay and PKD for the overall political picture. Nakul, go ahead. It's going to be up and down for a bit right now. But I think Karthikeya is making the critical point that the Congress has had its impact on the AAP's fortunes, and although the Congress vote share right now is hovering under 13%, it's not inconsequential in the impact it is having in terms of nothing for itself, but impacting the overall result. Nakul?
I just want to make a very quick point about the discussion that happened sometime back over here at the
Yeah.
show, which is that the BJP spokesperson was accusing the Aam Aadmi Party of being a B team of no, was accusing the Congress of being a B team of the Aam Aadmi
That's right.
Party, and
Yes.
you know the Congress has always accused has always accused AAP of being a B team of the BJP. Now this to me is the standard. This to me shows the kind of disruptor that Aam Aadmi Party has been in Indian politics over the last 10 years. You know, everybody's trying to make sense of it, and they're just trying to you're trying to fit it into these convenient slots of B team and into sort of, because the point is that they have challenged a lot of narratives, right, in Indian politics for a new party. And again, I mean, if you look at the vote share at 5% in a bipolar contest can mean a lot. So as of now, also the Aam Aadmi Party is about 5% ahead of the BJP. Whether this will convert to seats or not, we still have to see that. What we're also seeing is the way people vote in hyper-local elections like the MCD, and the way the people vote in Vidhan Sabha and the way the people vote in Lok Sabha is vastly different, right? So even though the Aam Aadmi Party may have swept Delhi in both the Vidhan Sabha elections so far in Delhi in 2022 and in 2007 and 2020 and in 15, but they've actually lost all 7 seats in Lok Sabha. In fact, in 2019 they came third in the Lok Sabha elections. So at that level, if you look at the vote share, I don't think the Aam Aadmi Party is doing too badly, because the BJP didn't even lose the MCD even during Sheila Dikshit's time, right? So even when the Congress was at its peak in Delhi,
That's a very
nobody
important
was able
point.
to.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
so
a
in
very
terms of
important
vote
point.
share,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So in terms of vote share, this is the first time that the BJP, it may not convert to seats. It may convert to seats as well. I think we'll have to wait for another half an hour for that.
I actually want to pick up that last point that you made and take it to Sanjay Jha. Sorry, Santan, I'll come to you in a moment. That's a very important point, that at the height of the Congress popularity, the BJP did manage to control the MCD. Right, so this is for the first time that you're seeing this kind of power play, and that the kind of enigma of the Aam Aadmi Party has not been fully understood by those who seek to criticize it. Neither the BJP nor the Congress. The Congress and the AAP flirted together briefly in the Delhi Assembly, coming together, and that didn't last at all. Sanjay, why do you think the BJP is more scared or suspicious or visceral almost towards the Aam Aadmi Party than it is towards the Congress?
Well, Barkha, one straightforward reason is the success that the BJP has had against a largely lackadaisical, lack of aggression that the Congress has demonstrated in head-to-head contests. I mean, we all know the data. In 195 Lok Sabha seats, the BJP wins 170 of them. This is not even skewed. It's completely asymmetrical. So it sees an advantage in terms of contesting against the Congress. But don't ignore the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party, I mean, I would tell them, I would still say that Punjab was a terrible Congress disaster. Otherwise, Aam Aadmi Party would not have had the sweep it did. But let's give them the credit for it. But even today, it remains largely a Delhi-centric party. For all his bravado, for all his braggadocio, the fact remains that at the end of the day, Arvind Kejriwal is not going to be forming the government in Gujarat. I mean, he made there's been huge investment by AAP in Gujarat. So it takes a long time to make a national footprint. I also don't accept the argument. I agree, perception-wise, Kejriwal is in conversation, but the Congress party is the linchpin of an entire opposition pushback against the BJP. And I do think, and I'm actually surprised.
I mean, I'm sorry, I want to come in here. If the Congress is the linchpin, why isn't the Congress fighting this election with the Aam Aadmi Party, both in Gujarat and here? I'm telling you, before you joined, an Aam Aadmi Party leader actually told me that he reached out to Mrs. Gandhi for a seat adjustment in Gujarat, and was told, no, we're not interested.
Let's be honest about that the Congress, I think, took the right call, because
Why?
somewhere down the line, the Congress has to recognize this reality, and I'm glad it is doing that you need to be your old political force all over again. And you cannot do it by making these adjustments. You go back to the disaster in UP that started with the seat sharing with Mayawati, and ever since it's been downhill. I think, there's one ray of hope, Barkha, and I'm surprised I'm saying so myself, that if you listen to what Kharge has been saying since becoming the Congress president, he's sending out a message there that the Congress party might just change under his leadership. I know that the Gandhis will still be a very central force, but I do believe that the Congress will probably wake up from, a lot of the mistakes it has made in the past, because there is, at least nominally on paper, a different man. And the critical factor that we'll probably talk tomorrow on your show is, will Priyanka Gandhi Vadra become a very critical force for the Congress?
Well, I think a lot
Himachal?
depends on what happens in Himachal,
Yeah.
because if Congress doesn't get Himachal, okay, Kartikeya, I want you to explain these numbers on our screen. Kartikeya, we need you explain what we're seeing on our screen. Yeah, Kartikeya.
Yeah, no, but this is what I had just mentioned, that if you look at the strike rate right now, and the numbers have stabilized, so we can say this with some more sort of certainty right now. In 2017, 270 seats went to the polls. So BJP won 181. Their strike rate back then was 67%. At that time, there was a split between the anti-BJP vote. So the AAP strike rate was 18%, the Congress 11%. Today, as of now, as we speak at this point, you will see that the BJP and AAP strike rate is neck and neck. I would put this AAP strike rate at 48%, not 47%. Aam Aadmi Party is just a little ahead. But look at the Congress. Congress's strike rate was 11% in 2017. As we speak right now, it's gone up to 3%. So that's what we're trying to say. Because in a delimited MCD, seat by seat to seat comparison is not good. So we are using strike rate as the metric to compare.
Very interesting. So while the BJP strike rate has come down and the AAP has gone up.
Even as we speak, the fresh string of numbers has come in. Aam Aadmi Party now leading 124, BJP 115. So that will push up the Aam Aadmi Party strike rate to 49%, push down the BJP strike rate to around 46, 47, 46%, I would say. And now the Aam Aadmi Party ahead 124, BJP 114, Congress 7, and others 5.
Okay, now Kartikeya, before I go to PKD, these are no longer early leads. I mean, we have
They're not, absolutely not.
We have had states results quicker than we are having an MCD result. What's going on here?
Close elections, Barkha, and this is a keenly fought election, I would say. Sanjay ji is absolutely right. The BJP starts in Delhi with a vote share of 30 to 35%, and then they build on that. The problem they've had, they haven't been able to build enough on that base. First against the Congress and now against the Aam Aadmi Party. But today, the Aam Aadmi Party is as formidable a political creature in Delhi as Sheila Dikshit's Congress used to be at one point in time. So you have two behemoths fighting with each other, with a smaller player now, unfortunately, once again, this is disservice to Sheila Dikshit ji's legacy, but the Congress relegated to number 3 and playing the role in some ways of a vote cutter and denting Aam Aadmi Party. But I would say because the margins are narrow and it's a keenly fought election, I would say that that's the reason why we are seeing these things move around. Also, I think, Barkha, I don't remember the last time a Delhi MCD election caught this much attention. So also this election is under a greater scanner just because this chota sa Nikay ka chunav could have implications nationally, much like the Hyderabad municipality election that we saw, where the BJP brought out its big guns. For the BJP, it could potentially have had implications in South India. So I think that's the other reason why we are, giving this ball by ball commentary, which was, I think, earlier not the case.
Yeah. Can I actually look at these national implications, political implications? PKD, to you first. The Aam Aadmi Party, even in Gujarat, when we would ask the BJP leaders, who do you consider your opposition? They would not mention the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party, by the way, is now more comfortably in the lead in MCD, 126 to the BJP's 113. Can the Aam Aadmi Party still be ignored? Please also remember that it comes against the backdrop of very grave allegations of corruption, whether in the liquor scam or Satyendra Jain, who's of course in jail. And I don't know that if the AAP takes MCD, you can say that the voter cared about that. So, go ahead, PKB.
No. I think for the national picture and etc., I think Aam Aadmi Party is. I would still say that it is. There is one thing I must admit, that Arvind Kejriwal is a great marketeer. He knows how to. He may not be the great communicator, but he's a great marketeer. He knows how to get the sympathy, how to pull up the strings at wherever it is required. So, but then there is a minus part of that. This kind of a narrative and a strategy will not work for a longer time, because this is something which will be easily and a very fast, people will become very bored with it. He's just 10-year-old. So the honeymoon period of Arvind Kejriwal is slowly getting over with regard to the delivery. So you also cannot make same kind of a narrative of that health, education, which is very, very important. And I must say that there is some people like us may not feel that as a great thing when we do a typical tu meme political debate. But the truth is that it also gives an impression to the rest of the people, whether it is in UP or in Kerala or wherever it may be. Yes, this also needs to be looked at it from the Bijli Sadak Pani.
But can you, but you know, there's a saying, PKD, you can love him or hate him, but you can't ignore him. Do you think that at least that much can be said about Arvind Kejriwal today? You know, irrespective of what happens, I think Karthik is already saying he's now a very serious political force in Delhi. We'll see what vote share they're able to pick up in Gujarat. A lot will depend on that, the testing of the national ambitions. But there's national recall for him, even as a party without a cadre.
This is precisely, I said that he is a great marketeer. He knows how to do it, how to spend his money, where to spend his money. He spends more money than advertising, than creating the narratives. And if a political force is able to create a narrative setting, that means he's at the right place, or at least he is doing it. But the only problem with him is that, like the communists, his kind of politics will not be able to sustain for a longer period, because he will get exposed. He started getting exposed one by one. It's just a matter of time, and maybe another 2 or 3 times. If this poll could have been as the exit polls were suggesting, a one-sided landslide victory for Aam Aadmi Party, I would have maybe agreed that yes, he is a real strong force that BJP may not be able to stand on him in Delhi at least. But even in Punjab, for an example, see, the last mile delivery of governance, in today's citizens like you and me are very impatient. We want everything in a fingertip. अगर आपने कल बता दिया तो मुझे आज चाहिए, उसका रिजल्ट चाहिए, दिखाओ. So I think there is no match to Narendra Modi or his kind of a politics, his kind of delivery.
No, I am not comparing. I'm not comparing Arvind Kejriwal to Narendra Modi. My question is among the opposition leaders. There is a fight for primacy right now.
Today, Arvind Kejriwal is riding on the apathy of Congress. The Congress weakness is the strength of Aam Aadmi Party today. Maybe tomorrow, we don't know. Somehow, the Rahul Gandhi's new avatar might make some kind of re-energizing, rebranding exercise for Congress. Then this will all go off, because most of the people who are supporting Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is here or in Punjab, are predominantly the congressmen and the Congress voters. So from Congress voters becoming Aam Aadmi Party, given a choice, one day if the same section of people feel that Congress is now becoming a better party, a better leadership, they can be the one who can be now once again look back. Congress is a culture. BJP is a culture. But Arvind Kejriwal is a phenomenon only which may...
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you, Karthik. Sorry, Karthik has got his hands up, so which I must mean a numbers update. Karthik, go ahead.
Absolutely.
No, I had raised my hand to give an analyst's opinion, but while I was doing that, numbers have also changed. So I'll do both. Aam Aadmi Party 123, BJP 115. So the gap is further narrowed. Congress at 7. But Barkha, to what PKD was saying, when he was describing Kejriwal, it seemed as if he was describing Narendra Modi initially in the first few sentences. So I think that is where the story lies. In the Hindi heartland right now, when it comes to opposition politicians, the one person who can be a match for Mr. Modi is Arvind Kejriwal. I think there's no doubt about it now. Having said that, organizational weaknesses will come in his way. But I think the man knows how to sell a political brand in today's day and age. And that's why the BJP is more worried about his rise than the Congress's resurrection. So far as the swing vote is concerned, one has to understand the BJP's core vote in 2009 was around 20%. They gained a swing vote of about 10 to 15% in subsequent national elections. Who is to say that that swing vote can't move around again? Because after all, that was the swing vote, right? So the swing vote theory holds both ways. It could go to the BJP, it could go to the Congress, it could go to the Aam Aadmi Party. So if I were the BJP, I wouldn't write him off. And I think that's what the BJP also is cognizant of, which is very clear in
very quickly, Barkha, can I just see one thing I'll tell you, I don't agree with you, Karthik, on this. The reason being Hindi heartland is predominantly UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan. None of these places, Aam Aadmi Party do not even exist. They are not even a force. They have never even contested a one election. UP, they tried a little, but they did not. Rajasthan is going for an election next year. It's with this election of MCD election and the Gujarat election, Aam Aadmi Party is not going to be a force in the next year's couple of elections. Telangana and many other places are Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan is going for an election next year. None of these places.
That's true. That's true. But
Barkha, can I step in for a second?
No. Both of you, please hold your fire. Harshit is at Arvind Kejriwal's residence. My colleague Harshit. He's been trying to connect to us pretty much all morning. Harshit, अगर आप मेरी आवाज सुन सकते हैं, it's over to you. I'm sure अभी आम आदमी पार्टी is being very careful. Fight बहुत tight है. आप क्या देख रहे हैं अपने आसपास?
Am I audible, Barkha?
Yeah, speak a little louder, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I would actually like to correct you. I'm not at the Arvind CM, the CM of Delhi's resident. I am actually at the BJP Delhi's office here at the Central Delhi. But I like to tell you, यहाँ पर हाँ जी यहाँ पर अभी कुछ ही देर पहले जो दिल्ली प्रदेश भाजपा के महामंत्री हैं कुलजीत यहाँ पर आए थे और कुलजीत ने जो बयान दिए मीडिया को, वो बयान बहुत ज्यादा कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं थे। कुलजीत बहुत ज्यादा बयान दे रहे थे। कुलजीत सेट की शाम तक आते आते देखना चाहिए किस तरीके के नतीजे आते हैं। तो कुलजीत ने ऐसा कोई दावा नहीं किया जैसा आम आदमी पार्टी करती आ रही है, जैसा सौरभ भारद्वाज ने सुबह आप हेडक्वार्टर्स पे किया था। सौरभ भारद्वाज ने कहा कि 180 सीट अभी भी आम आदमी पार्टी जीतेगी, लेकिन कुलजीत ने, जो कि भाजपा के प्रदेश महामंत्री हैं, इस तरह का कोई दावा उन्होंने नहीं किया। उन्होंने कहा कि हम आते आते शाम तक देखना चाहेंगे। अच्छी बात है कि अभी तक फाइट नेक टू नेक चल रही है, ये शब्द एग्जैक्ट वर्बेटिम थे कुलजीत सिंह के। तो ये बहुत बड़ा बयान उनकी तरफ से हमको देखने को मिला, यानी कि भाजपा अभी भी असमंजस में है इस पूरे चुनाव के नतीजे को लेके। खासतौर पे एग्जिट पोल्स जो आए थे उसके बाद सुबह हालांकि लग रहा था कि जिस तरीके से चुनाव के नतीजे आ रहे थे, शुरुआती नतीजों में परिणामों में भाजपा ने बहुत सारी लीड ले रखी थी, लेकिन फिलहाल जो मंजर भाजपा के यहाँ ऑफिस से है दिल्ली से, वो ये है कि भाजपा अभी भी इस चुनाव के नतीजे को धीरे धीरे देखना चाहती है, एब्जॉर्ब करना चाहते हैं यहाँ के नेता भाजपा के, ताकि कोई भी बड़ा स्टेटमेंट देने से पहले वो अपने आप को फैक्चुअली करेक्ट करें। बता
Okay, Harshit, thank you for that update. We'll let you go and now track the Aam Aadmi Party. Thank you, Harshit. Karthike, update on the numbers now. The lead seems to be a little more comfortable for the Aam Aadmi Party. Go ahead, Karthike.
No, actually, Barkha has actually shrunk as per our source, the lead.
Okay,
but the
ECI,
no, this is the shrunk lead because initially the Aam Aadmi Party 126. But in the ECI website, for the first time, Aam Aadmi Party is surpassing the BJP, where Aam Aadmi Party is now 114, BJP at 110. In terms of vote share, if I'll just ask our team to... there it is. 38.9% BJP, AAP 42.7%, Congress 12.4%, and this others is in the range of 7 to 8%, not 0. So that's the story emerging. As I said, the vote share of the AAP is as expected as per the exit polls, but the BJP pulling ahead by 2 to 3 percentage points. The Congress is slowly declining to the level which the exit poll had predicted. Initially, the Congress, if you remember, at least an hour back, was at 17-18%, but the exit polls were giving it 10 to 11%. So that's gone down, and the more it goes down, the more AAP will be happier, because, as I said, it's a zero-sum game, more or less, between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. So whichever source you look at it right now, the Aam Aadmi Party, with I wouldn't say still a comfortable lead, but a lead nonetheless. In fact, neither of the sources that we have right now is calling this election in one favor or the other, one way or the other. So 123 to the AAP, still 2 seats away. BJP 115, 10 wards away. Congress 7, others 5. Are we heading into a situation where the Congress and the others will play kingmaker? We don't know.
How soon do you think it is before we can call this election? I mean, we have lost sight of the fact that this is a municipal corporation election. State elections, I've been covering this for 25 years, have been called sometimes within an hour, 2 hours. What's going on?
But Barkha, I think it's easier to call state elections, which are big states. You know the regional trends sweep one way or the other. Very hyper local election, very localized election. So Patel Nagar may not be voting as Rajendra Nagar, Narayana may not be voting as Indarpuri, Paschim Bihar may not be voting as Ashok Bihar. Hence, there's this Pashopesh all the time. So I think that's the reason why we are still in this space. But again, keenly contested. And we still out. The jury's still out.
Okay, I want to bring in Santan. He's been waiting patiently for a long time. And then let's just look at brand Kejriwal. Where is brand Kejriwal? We talk a lot about brand Modi. No one is saying Kejriwal can take on Modi at an individual level, or the AAP can take on the BJP. But is he acquiring a primacy within the opposition space? I think is really the question for us to answer. Santan, go ahead and please unmute yourself before you respond.
Yes, hi. So, as far as the brand Kejriwal is concerned, so there are some of the points I was also listening, and I just wanted to make that as far as the brand Kejriwal is concerned, of course, there is a brand Kejriwal, and the thing is that he understands the issues. So in Delhi, if you see the MCD election, you will see that the BJP fought this election in a very national fashion, with all the CMs, the top central leadership and others. But Arvind Kejriwal chose the very grounded local issues like landfills, like garbage, and all these. So he understands. So his brand is the Kam Ki Rajniti and these things, but he understands the issues. For Gujarat also, he has touched the very basic issues which connect the people. So, and now I just wanted to talk to the what is the trend, what is here. One of for a very important thing, that the BJP has talked about the corruption of Arvind Kejriwal, the Aam Aadmi Party, and all these things. If this trend is true, and whatever the final outcome is, if it is a neck to neck, and then maybe BJP will buy votes and can win. But these kind of allegations of corruptions, videos of Satyendra Jain, these things have not dramatically worked what the BJP wanted. And I think this is also an important point. And as the question of brand Kejriwal, I also talked. Yeah.
I want to actually bring in Mr. Nambiar, PKD Nambiar here on this. There were many allegations. Liquor, Satyendra Jain's in jail, the release of those videos, all of that. None of that, irrespective of what the outcome is, and the AAP is now gaining in its lead ahead of the BJP quite comfortably. I don't know, Karthike, if you believe this is a stable lead, but 129 to 108 for the BJP. Kejriwal can no longer be ignored as an opposition political force. I mean, at least I think we should be able to say that much. PKD?
Absolutely, I agree with you, and of course, and there is no doubt. He today he has got two states, one in Delhi and Punjab with him, and there is no question of ignoring him. And anybody whomsoever any political force is ignoring a Kejriwal as a brand or a politician or as a political force may be making a big mistake. There is no doubt. But the only thing is that it's all the whole Kejriwal political journey is all about on riding on the Congress, the weekend Congress. There is nothing else. But I have another thing which maybe Karthik may be able to help us to understand. The average 50% is the MCD elections, the total polling, the number that 50% or 50.5%, something like that. And most of the people who really are concerned about the Satyendra Jain and the corruption and those kind of people are those the so-called the middle class who would like to give an opinion in everything and anything and everything on social media, or all sitting on their own comfort zone, may not be the people who go out there to vote. So, but in Kejriwal's vote bank, which is considered to be the freebie vote bank, wherein all those people who may be from the one step further, the lower middle class or the poor class people, so they are bound to go and vote for. They are the people who go and vote for sure. Unlike the people who are the so-called middle class who don't wanted to go step out and vote. So that also go against the BJP. BJP has got its own cadre vote of maybe about between 30 to 35% vote, which is going up this time around in MCD election 38%. So this also gives a feeling that the vote bank, captured vote bank, without even being a strong cadre party, if Arvind Kejriwal is able to manage, this also throw a kind of a politics which is a freebie politics, which ideally we should not be having it in India in 2022. I think this is something
why would what is called microeconomics or the prime minister's schemes not be considered freebies compared to, we're entering now a different debate as we wait for the numbers.
But I think Barkha, this is in the interest of the nation. We should have this discussion, not for here only, in multiple places. The reason being, what is the kind of politics we need to? Just look at the contradiction. In Gujarat, we are not talking about freebies. We are absolutely talking about the development. You can see the development. That is the kind of a narration which the BJP has been doing it from the last 27 years and they're still in power. So as in many other states, the culture of freebies have started from Tamil Nadu. Remember, both DMK and AIDMK offering one after another bicycle to laptops to rice to 1 rupee rice and free rice, so on and so forth. But did it really help empowering the people of the poor? No. Did it help any of these states to come out from the poverty, from the real poverty, or from the point of view of education, or empowering the society as a whole? It did not work so far. So I think what we need to do is that we need to have a narrative of development. People should vote for a party on the basis of development.
Sorry, Mr. Nambiar. Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you briefly. I think Harshit, my colleague, wants to come in there. Harshit, go ahead. Harshit, can you hear me? Okay. I don't think he can hear me. Let him just record that and send it to us. It's okay. We can play it out as soon as he does that. Karthikeya, give us the update on the numbers. Yeah.
Barkha, I think they're getting close to the point we can call this. Aam Aadmi Party 131, BJP 106. We're getting to that region where we'll be very soon able to call this in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party, albeit with a margin narrower than expected. That is all I have to say, but I think PKD makes some very interesting points, which I think merit responses. Only if you're interested on this show, or maybe we can have another show where we talk about how in Gujarat, it's not really development. It's the fact that in areas where public goods had to exist, they have been completely replaced by private markets. Whereas the middle class and the upper middle class have benefited from the infrastructure boom. But if today you find traction for Aam Aadmi Party in regions like Saurashtra and tribal areas of South and North Gujarat, it is primarily because those are the underprovided regions where public good delivery has not been up to the mark, and the reliance on private markets in Gujarat for health, education is higher than in an average state, let alone states like Tamil Nadu or, welfare states like Kerala. So that's an interesting debate for another day. But as of now, Aam Aadmi Party pulling ahead in 132, BJP 105, Congress 8. And as per the Election Commission website also, we are seeing a virtual dead heat. But remember, the virtual Election Commission till about 45 minutes back was giving a 40 plus lead to the BJP. So even there, the Aam Aadmi Party has pulled up. So it seems like we're in that region where in the next few minutes, I think, in the next 10-15 minutes, if these leads do stabilize, we'll be able to call this election, albeit, as I said, with a narrower than expected margin for the Aam Aadmi Party.
Why are you not comfortable calling it yet, Kartikeya? The
Because
lead is now 30 seats.
But Barkha, it's +7 for the Aam Aadmi Party, right? And a lot of these other seats could flip. The margins are still narrow. The number of victories called is still not that high. So I think if these leads stabilize in the next 10-15 minutes at around 130 to 135 for the Aam Aadmi Party, I think we'll be able to call this.
Okay, let's get comments. Let's get comments from Nakul. This lead is now the strongest, longest, biggest lead that we've seen all morning. It seems to be stabilizing. It won't be the landslide. I think that the AAP was hoping for. It won't be the walkover that the AAP thought it would be. A kind of the BJP would be left behind in their 80s. That doesn't look like that's happening. The Prime Minister, meanwhile, is speaking on the beginning of the Parliament session. We'll go across to it live in just a moment. Nakul, go ahead.
Well, very quickly, Barkha, 2-3 points I want to make. One is that, like you said, I think we're close to now sort of calling the election. It's really a matter of how big the lead will be. And I think while you're right that it hasn't been the kind of walkover that exit polls had suggested, but I also feel that this is for the first time. Even the Congress, like I said earlier, in its peak hadn't been able to dislodge BJP from the MCD. So I think this is quite an achievement for a new party like the Aam Aadmi Party. Secondly, I just want to come back to something else that was being discussed earlier. I'm not going to going into, like you have pretty clearly stated, that we're not going to get into a debate about the merits of welfareism. So I'm not going there. But the fact that this election, which is a hyper-local election, is being discussed so passionately across the country, it's being talked about.
Sorry, I'm saying sorry to you a lot. I have to cut across to the Prime Minister who's speaking on the opening of the Parliament session. I'll come back to you right after that.
Sure.
शीतकालीन सत्र का आज प्रथम दिवस है। ये सत्र महत्वपूर्ण इसलिए है क्योंकि 15 अगस्त के पहले हम मिले थे। 15 अगस्त को आजादी के 75 वर्ष पूर्ण हुए और अब हम अमृत काल की यात्रा में आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। एक ऐसे समय हम लोग आज मिल रहे हैं जब देश को, हमारे हिंदुस्तान को G20 की मेजबानी का अवसर मिला है। विश्व समुदाय में जिस प्रकार से भारत का स्थान बना है, जिस प्रकार से भारत से अपेक्षाएं बढ़ी हैं और जिस प्रकार से भारत वैश्विक मंच पर अपनी भागीदारी बढ़ाता जा रहा है, ऐसे समय ये G20 की मेजबानी भारत को मिलना एक बहुत ही बड़ा अवसर है। ये G20 समिट ये सिर्फ एक डिप्लोमेटिक इवेंट नहीं है, लेकिन ये G20 समिट एक समग्र रूप से में भारत के सामर्थ्य को विश्व के सामने प्रस्तुत करने का अवसर है। इतना बड़ा देश, मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, इतनी विविधताएं, इतना सामर्थ्य, पूरे विश्व को भारत को जानने का एक बहुत बड़ा अवसर है और भारत को, पूरे विश्व को अपना सामर्थ्य जताने का भी बहुत बड़ा अवसर है। पिछले दिनों मेरी सभी दल के अध्यक्षों से बहुत ही सानुकूल वातावरण में चर्चा हुई है। सदन में भी इसका प्रतिबिंब जरूर नजर आएगा। सदन से भी वही स्वर उठेगा जो भारत के सामर्थ्य को दुनिया में प्रस्तुत करने के लिए काम आएगा। इस सत्र में देश को विकास की नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाने के लिए वर्तमान वैश्विक परिस्थितियों में भारत को आगे बढ़ाने के नए नए अवसर, उन सबको ध्यान में रख करके कई महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय इस सत्र में करने का प्रयास होगा। मुझे विश्वास है कि सभी राजनीतिक दल चर्चा को और मूल्य वृद्धि करेंगे, अपने विचारों से निर्णयों को नई ताकत देंगे, दिशा को और स्पष्ट रूप से उजागर करने में मदद करेंगे। पार्लियामेंट के इस टर्म का कार्यकाल का जो समय अभी बचा है, मैं सभी पार्टी के लीडर्स को और सभी फ्लोर लीडर्स को बहुत ही आग्रह करना चाहता हूं कि जो पहली बार सदन में आए हैं, जो नए सांसद हैं, जो युवा सांसद हैं, उनके उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए और लोकतंत्र की भावी पीढ़ी को तैयार करने के लिए हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा अवसर उन सबको दें, चर्चाओं में उनका भागीदारी बढ़े। पिछले दिनों करीब करीब सभी दलों के किसी न किसी सांसद से मेरी अनौपचारिक मुलाकातें जब भी हुई हैं, एक बात जरूर सब सांसद कहते हैं कि सदन में हो हल्ला और फिर सदन स्थगित हो जाता है, उससे हम सांसदों का नुकसान बहुत होता है। युवा सांसदों का कहना है कि सत्र न चलने के कारण, चर्चा न होने के कारण हम जो यहाँ सीखना चाहते हैं, हम जो समझना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि ये लोकतंत्र की बहुत बड़ी विश्वविद्यालय है, हम उससे अछूत रह जाते हैं, हमें वो सौभाग्य नहीं मिल रहा है और इसलिए सदन का चलना बहुत जरूरी है। ये सभी दल के युवा सांसदों का खास तौर पर स्वर निकलता है। मैं समझता हूं कि और विपक्ष के जो सांसद है उनका भी ये कहना है कि डिबेट में हमें बोलने का अवसर नहीं मिलता है, उसके कारण सदन स्थगित हो जाता है, उसके कारण हो हल्ला होता है, उसके कारण हमें बहुत नुकसान होता है। मैं समझता हूं कि सभी फ्लोर लीडर, सभी पार्टी लीडर्स हमारे इन सांसदों की वेदना को समझेंगे, उनके विकास के लिए, देश के विकास में उनके सामर्थ्य को जोड़ने के लिए, उनका जो उत्साह है, उमंग है, उनका जो तजुर्बा है, उन सब का लाभ देश को मिले, निर्णयों में मिले, निर्णय प्रक्रियाओं में मिले। ये लोकतंत्र के लिए बहुत आवश्यक है। मैं बहुत ही आग्रह के साथ सभी दलों से, सभी सांसदों से इस सत्र को और अधिक प्रोडक्टिव बनाने की दिशा में सामूहिक प्रयास हो। इस सत्र में एक और भी सौभाग्य है कि आज पहली बार हमारे उपराष्ट्रपति जी राज्यसभा के सभापति के रूप में अपना कार्यकाल प्रारंभ करेंगे। उनका ये पहला सत्र होगा और पहला दिन होगा। जिस प्रकार से हमारे राष्ट्रपति द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी ने भारत की महान विरासत, हमारी आदिवासी परंपराओं के साथ देश को गौरव बढ़ाने में बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभाई है, उसी प्रकार से एक किसान पुत्र उपराष्ट्रपति पद और आज राज्यसभा के सभापति के रूप में देश के गौरव को बढ़ाएंगे, सांसदों को प्रेरित करेंगे, प्रोत्साहित करेंगे। उनको भी मेरी तरफ से मैं अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद साथियों। नमस्कार।
The Prime Minister there speaking ahead of the Parliament session at a time when India is chairing the G20, and he's, of course, just met with all party leaders. In the meantime, turning our focus back on the numbers, Karthikeya.
Yeah, Barkha. So I think the lead stabilized, but AAP, which was sitting in the 130s, has now come back to 129, which is why it's a close election to call, which nobody is calling even right now. But BJP 106, AAP 129. I think if these trends hold, we can say that Aam Aadmi Party should be forming the next, or will be having its next mayor from the MCD, because I think these numbers have held up for some time. If this stabilizes in the next 10-15 minutes and there's no big ulat fair, as we call it, I think we can call this election in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party. 129, although it's a slender margin, but so either the Aam Aadmi Party wins or we are heading for a hung house. At this point, BJP going ahead from 106 to 125 seems the unlikeliest of the three possibilities.
Yeah, usually the last mile belongs to the lead, the person or the party in the lead. That is what our experience of reporting elections tells us. Is actually a last mile gain, typically for the party that is clearly ahead. And right now, that is the Aam Aadmi Party. It isn't the landslide win, the landslide sort of race to the finish line. It seems more of a dead heat sort of race at many moments. Piketty, let's look at the big politics. I want to talk a little bit about brand Kejriwal. A lot of people don't know what that is. A lot of people suggest that it's a version of the BJP, it's a version of the Prime Minister, or he seeks to be. One of the things, for example, Arvind Kejriwal has started doing is either ducking issues that involve sort of Hindu-Muslim politics, fault lines, or embracing a kind of soft Hindutva. So I just want your take on that, Piketty.
Well, before that, I think, Karthik, I've been just browsing through three sites, India Today, NDTV, and Times of India. And the new latest thing which they are showing is 119 for Aam Aadmi Party and BJP 118. If this
okay,
is
let's take a look at that and update our numbers quickly. But go ahead, Piketty. Yeah.
So I think I'll tell you the brand cage. I have written an article a couple of years ago on Times of India that brand Kejriwal versus brand Crazy-wal. So if you really look at the political journey of Arvind Kejriwal as a brand, why I say that it is not a sustainable brand. Sustainable brands are based on ideology, which has got a strong value system. So, but from where Arvind Kejriwal is a product of a particular movement, which was more predominantly an anti-corruption movement on a particular time, on a particular climate, political climate. But those climates have changed, so as Arvind Kejriwal has changed. But the confusion of the brand image of this thing from an anti-corruption crusader to the one who is supporting the people who are corrupt, that is something which will take away. See, it's as I said, that it's not that older time of Indira Gandhi or even the Vajpayee era, wherein the communication lag is not there. Communication is absolutely live. People do understand, people judge your brand and the value system, what you are giving in on a minute-to-minute basis. I believe that the only way the Kejriwal is going to stay here, he might even become more and more stronger, only because that there is an anti-Modi or an anti-BJP per se votes are there in this country, or there are people, many people, including maybe like you, could be that they don't, I mean, they feel that, yeah, there is an anti-establishment movement. That's the way I would like to put it.
I mean, I would put it like this, that I think every democracy needs an opposition.
Absolutely.
Right now we don't have a national opposition.
I am with you, but I'm only worried. My only worry is that I was just telling offline with somebody a few days ago, very, very senior Congress leader.
Yeah.
And I have one of my family members is one of the number 2 Congress leader in the country. And I'll tell you this, that I was telling him that, man, that Congress is not just belongs to one particular family. Congress has been a culture for this country for several, maybe 70 years or even maybe 100 years. I think let's not kill that party. As the Prime Minister has said multiple times, it is so important for this country to have a strong opposition. As important as we have a strong government in the power, which has got a full mandate, the same way we also need to have a strong opposition. But the people like Arvind Kejriwal or the regional parties, their broader idea is only just get into the power. They can do anything and everything to get into the power. So but Congress may have a little bit more larger
so you would rather basically, like so many right-wing supporters, you would rather have a stronger Congress than a stronger AAP. Am I summarizing you correctly, PKD?
Absolutely. I am for, I would say that a stronger Congress is in the interest of the country. Not, of course, not the Kejriwal.
Okay, we need to take last comments from Mr. Nambiar. Anything urgent update on the numbers, Karthik?
Yeah, Barkha, I will just, so Mr. Nambiar was mentioning other sources, but I must clarify, we are sort of in sync with the fastest results. Also, the ECI website now, to corroborate this further, is giving Aam Aadmi Party 127 and BJP 106. So we are very close to that result. We have also updated our numbers where the Aam Aadmi Party is now 128, BJP 107, and just to add again, ECI is saying 127 Aam Aadmi Party, BJP 106. So three scenarios: BJP wins, Aam Aadmi Party wins, hung house. The unlikeliest is a BJP victory. Aam Aadmi Party winning and a hung house, I think as of now remain the top two contenders for a result as we approach noon in this very riveting coverage.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarification. So I hope that answers Mr. Nambiar's somewhat different, different numbers. I just want to play out a small moment from the BJP headquarters where my colleague Harshit spoke to BJP leader Shehzad Poonawala. Let's listen.
वाला मौजूद हैं। सौरभ भारद्वाज का कहना है कि अभी भी 180 सीट आप लेके आएगी। आपकी तरफ से क्या आंकड़ा आएगा?
Everyone has a right to express overconfidence in a democracy. Overconfidence can sometimes be fatal. The exit polls were overconfident about their numbers. I think the exit polls have been proven to be completely wrong. So I would say rest in peace to the exit polls. And as far as the exact polls are concerned, let's wait for 1.5 to 2 hours. Whatever the responsibility the people of Delhi give to us, we will accept it in all humility because that's the culture of the BJP. And having said that, one thing is very important. In the last 15 years, if the BJP continues to maintain its vote share, which seems to be evident as of now, final results will be out in 1.5 hours. It seems that the BJP has done good work in the MCD, and that we probably did not advertise it. We are not a banner-based party. We are not an advertisement-based party. We are a seva-based party. Perhaps we spoke less about it. Perhaps we advertise it less, but I think the people have felt it, and therefore, as the exit polls were predicting that it will be a complete rout, I don't think that is happening.
I would actually like to stop you. There are discussions among the political analysts that BJP do not have a face in Delhi as far as Delhi is concerned. The whole election was based on the star pracharaks of BJP, whether it be JP Nadda, whether it be Amit Shah ji, whether it be Gautam Gambhir, whether it be...
Who was the mayor face of Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi?
Not actually, but Kejriwal came up and...
Kejriwal is their national leader, and he's the chief minister, and so is Bhagwant Mann. So if they put their national face, Chamatkar, if I put my national face, Gunegar. Look, we fight every election very seriously. Barkha knows it better than most that the BJP treats elections as a pious occasion of democracy to get our word across, to tell people we've done this work. And even the smallest of elections or the biggest of elections, every leader of the BJP is committed to fight it with the whole heart. And therefore we've done that. And Aam Aadmi Party has also done that. So what's the difference?
So to conclude, is there any particular amount of figure like you're targeting this much seats we're going to conquer this time?
I have always left it on the wisdom of the people to tell us how many seats they want to give us. Clearly, the exit polls can't figure that out. We will figure that out collectively after 1.5 to 2 hours, and I'll speak to you then.
All right. So thank you so much. This was Shehzad Poonawala. He says BJP is going to form the government in MCD, and he actually doesn't want to predict the number of seats BJP is going to win. But he hears for sure. He is claiming that BJP will win these elections, and they are going to form a strong government in MCD for the 4th consecutive time.
All right, thank you, Harshit, for that. The interesting thing in that even is RIP exit polls. I'm wondering how many people shared that sentiment. Shehzad Purewala of the BJP saying, irrespective of what happens, rest in peace. Exit polls. PKD, you want to come in on that? Do you feel that?
I think 2 days ago, again, I was on a channel in their studio. You know what they said? I said, why you are not doing the exit poll? अरे यार उसने जवाब ये दिया, करेगा तो तब भी बोलेंगे क्या उसको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, अगर नहीं करेगा तो तब भी इश्यू, अभी हम तो करता ही नहीं, अब बंद कर दिया. I think exit polls can definitely do some kind of a hint on a mood, but that does not mean that it is nowhere close to the accuracy, and nobody can. The sample size of a 500 vote or 1,000 votes in a constituency of say about 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh people, we can never go. But yes, it can definitely do give a mood. Politicians are they will always have their own comments based on if the MCD polls or if they were gaining, and if the exit polls were given BJP a victory margin, then Shehzad would have said something else. So I think let's not go with the complete politicians are supposed to speak like that way. But one thing is very clear.
It is true. No, but it is true that all the polls were unanimous about a landslide win, and whatever happens eventually, this is not that.
I can tell you only one thing. I can tell you, Barkha, what you said few minutes ago. A strong opposition is very well needed in a democracy. I think in Delhi, whether if it Aam Aadmi Party comes or in BJP comes, today there is going to be a very, very strong opposition in MCD. Either BJP or an Aam Aadmi Party. Right now, it looks like the BJP is the main opposition party. But if it is 106 seats, or rather, it's almost like 50% of opposition. That's in the interest of democracy. The people have the right to question, and let all these councillors raise our voice of cleanliness and hope. Now, the bigger challenge for Arvind Kejriwal for Delhi model, because as of now, Arvind Kejriwal has always got a MCD मेरे हाथ में नहीं है, पुलिस मेरे हाथ में नहीं. अब MCD भी तुम्हारे हाथ में आ गया. अब बताओ यार, कूड़ा कब तक पहाड़ निकाल दोगे, कब तक सड़क बन जाएगा, कब तक MCD स्कूल चमकेगा. देखते हैं. I think more pressure to Arvind Kejriwal, and this is good for BJP from the point of view of the next assembly election and 2024 election, to take on to Arvind Kejriwal more effectively and hold on to him in every possible way from the point of view of governance and delivery.
Okay, PKD, I know you have to leave, so we're going to thank you at this point. We're still waiting to call this election. In the meantime, my colleague Harshit continues to speak right now with BJP leaders. He'll soon be shifting his attention to the Aam Aadmi Party. Let's listen in as more leaders from the BJP speak to my colleague Harshit at the BJP headquarters.
नतीजे आ रहे हैं, भाजपा लीड लेती हुई नजर आ रही है. क्या लग रहा है, कितनी सीटें ले पाएंगी, सरकार बन पाएंगी अभी भी, या आप देखना चाहेंगे शाम तक?
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी चौथी बार फिर से सत्ता के अंदर आने जा रही है. जनता ने, जो दिल्ली की जनता जिन्होंने 70 में से 63 सीटें आम आदमी पार्टी को विधानसभा में 2 साल पहले दी थी, आज वो बहुमत से दूर है. भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो 15 साल से एमसीडी के अंदर सत्ता में थी, आज फिर से आप जितना एंटी इनकम्बेंसी की बात कर रहे थे, 60 से 70 सीटें दे रहे थे, सभी सर्वेक्षणों को, सभी सर्वे को झूठा साबित करते हुए निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार बनाने चाह रही है.
तमाम एग्जिट पोल्स में बताया जा रहा था कि 150 से 170 तक सीटें आम आदमी पार्टी लेके आएगी. सौरभ भारद्वाज ने अभी भी सुबह कहा है कि 180 सीट आम आदमी पार्टी की आ रही है.
देखिए, सौरभ भारद्वाज जी 230 सीटें दे रहे थे, मैंने देखा था, और केजरीवाल जी ने ऐसा कहा था. मुझे लगता है, लेकिन इतना घमंड, इतना गुमान नहीं होना चाहिए. दिल्ली की जनता अपना फैसला सुना रही है और उसको हर्ष से स्वीकार करना चाहिए.
आपको क्या लगता है, कितनी सीट भाजपा की आ जाएगी?
मुझे पूरा अनुमान है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को दिल्ली की जनता आशीर्वाद देगी. सीटें जो भी होगी अभी आपके कुछ देर में आपके सामने आ जाएगा.
अगर सरकार बनती है सर, सबसे पहला कदम क्या होगा? सबसे पहला कदम,
देखिए, दिल्ली की जनता ने हमें आशीर्वाद देगी, और जो भी दिल्ली के कार्य है जिसको हम चला रहे हैं, उस कार्य को हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे.
ये मेरे साथ तजिंदर पाल बग्गा इस वक्त मौजूद थे. तजिंदर पाल बग्गा का कहना है कि अभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी शाम तक पूरे नतीजों में सरकार बनाती हुई नजर आएगी एमसीडी के अंदर. सौरभ भारद्वाज के आम आदमी पार्टी के तमाम बयानों को उन्होंने झुटलाया है, और एग्जिट पोल्स के खिलाफ जाते हुए जो नतीजे इस वक्त सामने आ रहे हैं, उन पर सौरभ भारद्वाज ने तजिंदर पाल बग्गा ने पूरा विश्वास जताया है.
Okay, so this is not over till it's over, is the point I was trying to make. Karthikeya, it's over to you. Yes.
Barkha, it's 129 and 106, but I must add something, Barkha, on the issue of exit polls. Given the way results are, it is possible that we might end up with Aam Aadmi Party reaching 150. because they've been stabilizing at this 130 mark for the last, I think at least half an hour now. And as you said, the final overs, the slog overs belong to the team that is doing well, right? It is possible that we might touch that, they might touch that 145 to 150 figure. A. B. It is trickier to call elections with smaller number of constituents. So MCD elections are trickier to call as opposed to say Uttar Pradesh. If you ask any pollster, Himachal is very difficult to call vis-a-vis in Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, an MCD is even more difficult to call than a Himachal. Why difficult? Not difficult in terms of vote share, but difficult in terms of the seat conversion ratio. So I think there is a science to it, but that science is perfect till the time you have vote shares. The vote share to seat share conversion science is imperfect and it varies across agencies. Having said that, I would reiterate, it is possible we might still end up with the Aam Aadmi Party crossing the 140-150 mark. As it stands, Aam Aadmi Party is sitting healthy at 128. I don't think the BJP is coming back to par given these numbers. The two possibilities I will again say are an Aam Aadmi Party mayor, which seems to be the case right now, or a hung MCD, in which case then all options are open because we know the BJP's tricks are probably a lot more and many than the Aam Aadmi Party's.
I just want to briefly talk about the Congress leading in 11 seats. We haven't spoken about the Congress at all. Karthike, if you want to talk a little bit about that. We don't know where this final number will end. These are leads, not results. But, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of questioning of the exit polls. I know you say they got their vote share trajectory right. But this is nowhere like the election. You know, we all thought that we would be eating breakfast at 10 a.m. with all of it done.
No, but I think Barkha, Congress's data is sort of now conforming with the exit polls, wherein Congress's vote share is down to 12.4%, and the exit polls were giving them around 11%. Plus, even the number of seats is on the upper end of the band we were given. So I think that's fine. The story I think here is the BJP is pulling ahead in terms of vote share by 4.5 percentage points. So the BJP seems to be doing better than what the exit polls had predicted. Exit polls had given them around 35-36% if I remember correctly, but BJP is touching the 40% mark. So I think that is the main story, and I think if at the end of it, obviously the Congress's performance will dent the Aam Aadmi Party, but the BJP in itself seems to be doing better than expected. And even as we speak, Aam Aadmi Party has touched 130 once again. And I think we'll change the banner as well because the Aam Aadmi Party is now at 130, BJP at 104, while Congress leading at 11. And I think these 11 and the other 5 would be tenuous seats, Barkha. But also I must say that the Election Commission is slowly trying to call the winners also now. So as of now, as per latest numbers, we have 8 confirmed winners from Aam Aadmi Party and 11 confirmed winners from BJP. So this number that we have is leads plus wins. The wins that have been confirmed so far are 19, of which 8 have gone to the Aam Aadmi Party and 11 to the BJP.
I just want to explain because it's very confusing for people who don't understand numbers that these are the actual declared results as opposed to the leads, which is a seat that is still being counted. Going by the leads, the AAP is now distinctly ahead in 130 compared to 104. And the Congress, which just moments ago was at 11, is now at 5. Can we take the banner off, please? There it is. Karthike, you want to just come in on that and then I'll open it up.
No. Congress is still at 11, Barkha. Others are at 5.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. The Congress is at 11.
No, but you're right. The Congress's leads will be more tenuous than the BJP's or the AAPs. That I think one can say with some certainty. But yes, that is the situation right now.
Okay, Nakul and Sayantan, your thoughts. There's a lot to think about, not so much about the Delhi MCD and who eventually takes it, but what this reflects about politics. To me, quite simply, it reflects that if yes, every party has a right to its ambition, but if these opposition parties do not bury their egos, it's going to be advantage BJP all the way. Notwithstanding the great success of the AAP as a kind of infant party, a 10-year-old party, all of that granted. But if Arvind Kejriwal is really serious about his national ambitions, I'm not sure he can pull it off solo. He needs partners, he needs alliances, he needs seat adjustments. All of that is evident in this closely fought MCD election even. Go ahead, Nakul.
I agree with you, Barkha. I mean, and at the same time, like you said, that he needs alliances, you need seat adjustments, you need some sort of political compromises, electoral seat compromises. You will have to make. I think, and the sense I am getting when I watch these elections as a sort of not just these elections, but when you watch Aam Aadmi Party as a sort of ringside as a spectator, I think what they're trying to do is to cement themselves as, at least in terms of perception. And there's a lot of talk about brand Kejriwal, how good he is as an advertiser, how good he is at creating a certain perception. He's I think going to go into Karnataka, he's going to go into MP with the kind of energy that we saw him contest, we saw AAP contest in Gujarat, right? They're going to try and cement themselves as the main opposition nationally against the BJP before they get into alliances of sorts, so that Arvind Kejriwal, I think, is then looking to do that so that he can call the shots. That's one. Just very quickly, Barka, that while Aam Aadmi Party, I think, is still it's still at its nascent stages, but let's not forget that in these 10 years, it's seen a meteoric rise, a very fascinating rise. And what has AAP done? Mr. Nambiar, who's not here now, for some time back saying that the Gujarat elections was fought only on the issue of development. That is not true. There was there were polarizing speeches that were made. The fact that Bilkis Bano's those accused of raping Bilkis Bano and those carrying out those heinous crimes, those convicted, were let off early. So I mean, a law. It wasn't just fought on the issue of development, but I just want to make a very important point here. Look at what AAP has been able to do. Right, it has shifted the narrative where it forced Narendra Modi and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah into schools, right, and get themselves photographed with children in schools. So the fact that Bijli, subsidized power, subsidized better primary education or school education, better public healthcare, the fact that all of them are gradually becoming national issues, I think that is a fairly phenomenal. That's a fairly phenomenal intervention that AAP has made in national politics. And finally, when we're talking about their growth nationally, recently, I mean, it's not as if they have no presence outside of these 2-3 states where they've done well. But also if you look at, say, the recent Zilla Parishad elections in Haryana, AAP actually came second in that, right? In MP, I was talking about this sometime back. They have some sort of an organization.
But can I just jump in? You spoke about the Bilkis Bano case and also pushing the BJP into sort of issues of governance, talking about Bijli Sadak Pani. Kejriwal, he said this on record and off record, believes that he does not want to get drawn into any religious identity debate with the BJP. He quite clearly believes that on that debate, the BJP wins. That also results in him being silent on a whole host of issues where critics of the BJP want him to speak up. As he goes national, he's going to have to, I think this point was made by you earlier, figure out who he is. Can he afford this kind of post-ideology politics?
No, I fully agree with you, Barkha, because I think this is one of the criticisms I personally have had of Aam Aadmi Party. And so when I was clarifying my position, as when you said, passionate AAP supporter, I said, no, I do have my criticisms of the party. And I think this is one of my chief criticisms of the party, which is that as the party grows now, they cannot afford to dilly-dally on social issues. They will have to take concrete positions on issues of religious polarizations. They will have to take issue, and also strong, they will, I mean, not just issues of religious polarization, on issues of caste, on a whole range of such issues in the country, right? Rajendra Pal Gautam also, I mean, Kejriwal said that, we didn't want him to leave and that he left on his own. But the fact remains that, you felt the heat on a whole range of issues. You see that Kejriwal is showing the courage to take on Modi and BJP, unlike the Congress. But on this particular issue, they haven't shown a similar courage, right?
Yeah.
And one can bring up example after example.
I don't know if it's courage. I don't know if it's a lack of courage. I think it's a calculation. I think it's a calculation that the moment you debate or you let the campaign become about these issues, as important as many others may believe them to be, it's advantage BJP in a polarized environment. But hang on, we're getting into a kind of philosophical conversation. I want to take up back to the numbers. Can we flip to the leads, please? Karthike, go ahead.
129, Aam Aadmi Party stabilizing, I think BJP 105. Barkha, I think safe to call that the Aam Aadmi Party is winning, but only by a very slender margin. This majority will be very tenuous, especially because I'm yet to confirm, but I think the anti-defection laws are not applicable to local elections. So I think that needs to be looked into. But given this, 129 councillors of the Aam Aadmi Party leading versus BJP's 105, we can now, with more confidence, say that the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be getting its mayor. The vote share story is interesting, Barkha. If I can pull, if we can just pull the vote share story up. So the BJP is up in terms of vote share from its 36% in 2017 to 39.2 as per what the ECI is telling us right now. The Aam Aadmi Party, of course, is up from 26.2 to 42.3. The Congress is down from 21 to 12. Now, let me just decode that. What does that mean? What that means is that the Congress, even if you were to assume that the entire 9% drop has gone to the Aam Aadmi Party, that does not explain the entire rise. A lot of what the Aam Aadmi Party is also gaining is from the Chota Wala parties, the independent candidates. That is an interesting story as well. The BJP is also pulling up by 3% primarily because the space for the Chota parties, the independence, has completely gone away. If you look at the vote shares, for example, from 2017, in North Delhi, the others category polled 15%, South Delhi 18%, East Delhi 15%. If you look at the numbers right now, the way we are sort of suggesting they are, if you add up the BJP, the Congress, and the Aam Aadmi Party vote share, that's roughly 81, that's roughly 92%. So the space for the others has shrunk to half. So it was around 15 to 16% in 2017, but as of right now, others are only polling 8%. And that reduction has been distributed between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP.
Yeah. So, are you calling it yet, Kartiki, or you're holding your fire? Because it's 107 to 127 now, and
And as I said, we are more confident of calling it. I don't think anybody right now can still call it with certainty. One thing I can rule out is a BJP mayor, just on the basis of the BJP's own strength. Let me caveat that.
Well, the BJP, is there any scenario where the BJP could join hands with, because you've been raising this point again and again about defection and the MCDA, we're looking that up. If indeed that was a possibility, what are the possibilities that still emerge from these numbers?
So imagine that all the 5 others go to the BJP, right? The BJP is at 106 now, even as we speak. That's 111. Congress, let's say the entire flock joins the BJP, although I doubt. I think the natural habitat for a Congress defector would be the Aam Aadmi Party and not the BJP.
And I want to tell you, we just checked. The Indian Express says there's no anti-defection law that applies to MCD polls. You wanted us to check that. We just checked that.
Exactly.
So
it's free season.
And therefore, I just want to war game this a little bit. The BJP could. It would be interesting to see who those 5 others are. But the BJP could technically do a Goa here, or no?
But Barkha, the others is anyway. Let's give it to the BJP. I'm saying they're all independents. I don't think there's any party affiliation there anyway. I'm saying even if the BJP reaches 111, the Nelson, how do you get to 125? So for that, you'll have to break at least a few of the Aam Aadmi Party's councillors. That's what I'm saying. And I think the other point to note is for the Congress's 11 councillors, if we assume they're all going in, the natural habitation would not be the BJP, it would be the Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party, sorry. So if they were to defect, they'd rather join the Aam Aadmi Party than the BJP. So
However, stranger things have happened in politics. And my other thing would be to remind our audience that the AAP and the Congress did briefly join hands.
Correct.
And that was a disaster, and it ended very soon. The second point is BJP and the Congress might agree on one thing. Neither wants. I think we have to be very, very clear that the Congress is.
But Barkha, they can't do much together, is what I'm saying. I don't think even if they come together, they can match the AAP as of now. So the dent has, even if there are 2 councillors to be broken, they will have to come from the Aam Aadmi Party, because the Aam Aadmi Party is at 130, BJP 104. Even if you were to take all the opposition councillors together, that's 120. You need 6 more. So those 6 have to come from the Aam Aadmi Party.
Yeah. Let me bring in Sayantan. I see his hand up. Sayantan, go ahead. Sayantan.
Yes. So one point I wanted to make, one thing that is that, of course, the other so the independents, there is a lot of independent, some of the independent candidates, they might shift because the factor that the anti-defection law. And there is another factor, the details of this fact can be checked, but as far as I remember, that because Delhi is the union territory, the lieutenant governor will have the right to nominate, I think, 9 to 12 councillors. Uh, so he has the right to do so. And exact numbers I don't remember. So that it's majorly what we see, that in Chandigarh, in case of Chandigarh also, you can check that majority of these people are, of course, pro BJP. In case of Delhi also, that is likely to happen. If it happens, then the chances will again increase for the BJP. So this is a point which I wanted to make here.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to say that the Aam Aadmi Party has crossed the halfway mark. We haven't actually underlined that enough, and it's now 131 to 130, 103. Kartikeya, are you still holding your fire there in calling?
No. So as I said, I think we are now in that zone where we can say that unless some big ulatfer happens at the end, the Aam Aadmi Party is set to cross the halfway mark in the MCD.
Yeah.
Although by a slender margin, which is why we were discussing all the rogue possibilities as they were, as to how now might the Aam Aadmi Party be denied the mayoral post. So that's why we were trying to war game. But I think we can say with some confidence now that unless there's a last minute twist in the tail, as it were, the Aam Aadmi Party is set to cross the halfway mark in the MCD and, let's say, will have its own mayor, unless, as you said, stranger things happen.
I just want to ask you, does the Election Commission tell us how much counting, how many rounds of counting might be left?
I can check, but for state elections, for sure, we know how many rounds happen. But this is coming from the Delhi State Election Commission, so I need to check if the reporting is that meticulous. But we can get back to you on that.
Okay, Santan, you made your point. I think let's talk a little bit about what we can't take the credit away from what Kejriwal has achieved in the last 10 years. But one of the other interesting shifts, Nakul, has been from him being a party of the middle class, which is how the anti-corruption movement really birthed the AAP, to today being a party which is the first preference list in Delhi of lower income groups. I don't know how it will be in Gujarat, but in Delhi, that's a very, very clear voting preference. It's lower income groups where his Bijli, Pani schemes are spoken about along with schools and mohalla clinics. So, that characterization, Nakul, of the AAP as a middle class party, Arvind Kejriwal being that self-made middle class politician, that has shifted as well over the years.
Absolutely, absolutely. And right in the beginning, if you remember, I did mention some CSDS statistics on the same, and their support in the poor, their support among the lower income groups, their support and the middle class is where the BJP sort of narrows that gap. And in the rich, of course, they overtake them among the rich, but their support among the poor and the lower income groups and among women, according to the CSDS service, 50% women prefer Aam Aadmi Party over and BJP 37%. So that's a 13-point lead where women voters are concerned, and that's huge. And these are obviously, and I think one could make the point that it is also an overlap of the class a lot of these women come from, who are supporting the AAP so passionately, right? Or who prefer the AAP over the BJP. Secondly, just very quickly, and I think there are reasons for this. Again, I'm quoting CSDS statistics. An overwhelming majority among the poor believe that the quality of schools, government schools, that the quality of public healthcare, and that even has improved in Delhi, right? And even CSDS and quality of electricity supply and at this electricity supply and water supply, all these issues, the poor and the lower income groups overwhelmingly believe have improved in Delhi. So these are things that work in favor of the AAP. One may, I mean, so Mr. Nambiar wasn't in favor of their welfare politics. I don't want to go there, but and you've just sort of drawn the line there and said that we're not getting into the
I mean,
we're not getting into the
we need
nitty-gritties
another
of that.
conversation. We
We
need
need
another
another
conversation
conversation.
on
I
that. Right
agree.
now, we
I
just
agree. But clearly,
yeah.
people do believe that. I think at least some kind welfare schemes are reaching people in some way, and there is some people are at one level happy at the way welfare schemes are reaching them. Again, like you said, we need another
Well,
conversation to discuss that at
I
length.
actually think that the BJP and the AAP both, a big part of the BJP's wins, at least from my travels, is to do with its welfare schemes. Women have
Absolutely.
spoken about toilets,
Absolutely.
rations.
Toilets,
So yeah,
free ration, absolutely. In large parts of East UP, Central UP, in the last UP elections, free ration was an issue that actually helped the BJP in a very big way, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see why and how fair it is for the BJP to accuse only the AAP of revadies or freebies or any of
no,
that.
absolutely. That I think welfareism is now at the heart of our politics. I don't think it's actually going to go away. You could argue about which schemes. There's a difference between free televisions and free education. So I think you could argue about that. But like I said, that's a discussion maybe for another time when we have less sort of chaos around the numbers of. Imagine when it comes down to it, we're talking about who will be the mayor of Delhi, and you would think that this is actually as critical as a national election. Go ahead, Kartikeya. Do you have an update?
But in terms of rounds, I think most of the seats, if I'm looking at wards, I think they've crossed the fourth or the fifth round. I think usually you would want to go in the double-digit rounds given the size of the constituency. But I think most of the seats we have crossed the fourth or the fifth round, barring a few exceptions, of course. But as I said, I think we can say with comfort that the Aam Aadmi Party should cross the half or will cross the halfway mark in the MCD. But these margins are also interesting. For example, as per the ECI website, right now we have a lead coming in from Fateh Nagar where the difference is 131 votes, where the Aam Aadmi Party is trailing, the BJP is leading. This is the seventh round. Let me give you another example. We have a lead coming from Keshopur, where Aam Aadmi Party is leading in the seventh round ahead of the BJP by 137 votes. So there could be some flips here and there, but largely I think this trend should hold.
So, do you believe that they will remain ahead of the halfway mark, or do you believe they still? What is your?
I think, Barkha, by this time, one can say with some comfort that this should hold. If in fact, I would say that advantage Aam Aadmi Party, it could go a little higher. A second distant possibility, I think, is a hung scenario, and the least likely possibility is that of a BJP victory right now.
Yeah. So we are looking at the AAP ahead. It's hovering at leading in about 130. Can we flip back to the seats, please? Yeah, there. You can see the BJP.
Marka, can I also add one more seat? Baparola, sixth round, independent leading ahead of Aam Aadmi Party by 42 votes.
But that's how narrow.
Others, exactly, which is why this is interesting, right? It is very interesting. Yes.
Yeah. No, I was just making the point that these numbers, the Congress numbers, for example, have stabilized, and the BJP that was in earlier leads hitting 120s, 118, now seems to have, at least for the last many minutes, been the same number of 104. Do we have any sense by when we'll be able to call this election, Kartikeya?
I think, Barkha, we can say that they've crossed the halfway mark. I think I just said it, right? That the Aam Aadmi Party will cross the halfway mark. When I say will, it means that they already crossed, but when the results finally come out, they will have crossed it.
That's what will that hold?
Yes,
right.
Exactly. I think it will.
They've crossed it in leads as they hold right now, basically.
Exactly. Okay. Yes, and they will cross it when the results come out. Yes.
All right. So we're waiting. We're waiting for a little more clarity. There's going to be a lot of questions, of course, about exit polls. I think we're seeing images of actually opposition leaders. I can see the Aam Aadmi Party in those pictures. Sanjay Singh of the AAP. That's an opposition party. So they do obviously agree to strategize together, even if they contest elections against each other on the floor of Parliament, because I can see Mallikarjun Kharge and Sanjay Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party there. Parliament is also beginning at the same time. The AAP is now 130 to the BJP's 104, and it's remained that way in lead position for a while now. Santan, thoughts? Santan, you're on mute. If you can hear us, just unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Am I audible? My connection was unstable for a minute, so I missed the last sentence you said.
I'm just saying that there seems to be now stability in the AAP's leads. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I think there is a stability, and for the Aam Aadmi Party, what I saw that they fought with very localized elections, and Arvind Kejriwal also campaigned heavily for this MCD election. After the first phase of Gujarat election, he campaigned for, I think, 4 to 5 days continuously, and also went door to door for the campaigning. And I think that these things have worked for the Aam Aadmi Party. And another thing which you mentioned earlier, and Nakul has talked about it, that the Aam Aadmi Party was earlier, that it was a notion that they have an immense popularity within the economically lower class, and but if you see the Arvind Kejriwal's promises and everything, one of the very key promises he made was that he will, if the Aam Aadmi Party comes to power in MCD, then he will make the residents' welfare associations mini councillors of
yes.
So these are the kind of pitches he made regularly. He did town halls with the business community. So you know that RWAs are the where the middle class, upper middle class, they stay, and so this is why there is a support from the middle class and the upper middle class also in this election, which I feel. And the business community and women, they also have now become
and I think this is a very interesting point. I just want to welcome Rahul Ishwar to the program. Can we switch to the yeah, sorry, Karthik.
Can I add something interesting? I think it's a very interesting observation, and maybe this will become more relevant over time. The BSP used to maintain a 3 to 5% vote share in Delhi. In fact, in Delhi Assembly elections, they used to win a couple of seats also, more or less every time. Their vote share has collapsed to 1.7%. My sense is that vote has migrated to the Aam Aadmi Party. What does that tell you? That tells you that the Dalits who might have been supporting the BSP may have voted as a lower economic class for the Aam Aadmi Party, something that the BJP has done successfully in Uttar Pradesh, where they have turned lower castes into lower classes and they have made them vote for them. If you look at the non-Jatav Dalits. So this is a template that is working for even the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. Once again, goes to the point about welfare schemes, handouts, and the whole delivery model. I think it's a very interesting point, something that Arvind Kejriwal and his party might be able to leverage as they expand nationally, that skirting, if they want to skirt the caste issue head on, they can do it, but and they can use this as a tactic, although I think they can't completely deny the idea of caste, but this is an alternative strategic lever that the BJP has been using, which seems to have been working for the Aam Aadmi Party as well.
Okay, let me bring in Rahul Ishwar. Rahul, good morning. Certainly the election is not the landslide projected by the exit polls, but after a lot of up and down, the AAP is in the lead. You are, of course, a supporter of the Prime Minister. This has been a very high voltage campaign. Arvind Kejriwal being spoken about as someone who can possibly be the party or the man to take on Mr. Modi in 2024. What do you make of what you're seeing so far, where finally the AAP, after being up and down, seems to be now at least crossing the halfway mark in the leads? Rahul? Can we unmute Rahul, please? Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you, Rahul. Yeah.
Barkha, two submissions. Any elections anywhere in the world, not only in India, anywhere in the world, is a tug of war between left and right. Left with their economics and politics, right with their identity, culture, and politics. This is happening in US with Democratic and Republics.
But
same way in India.
Is Arvind Kejriwal left or right? It's hard to say.
No, Arvind Kejriwal is core left liberal with right cultural flashing. Arvind Kejriwal has distributive
That's a
economics.
new description. Okay.
To be honest, that is the winning formula too. See, this is how Mahatma Gandhi used to balance. Mahatma Gandhi was kind of a centrist. He used to have Sardar Patel for the right and Nehruji for the left, and always they used to have Congress at the earlier point of time used to have right cultural flashing. There is nothing wrong in it. Arvind Kejriwal ji uses Hanuman Chalisa, saying that I'm a Ram Bhakt. These are all right-wing cultural flashing, which Rahul Gandhi ji also is trying to do effectively by telling that he's a Jenu Daru Brahman, he's a Shiv Bhakt, Shiva is the universe. There is nothing wrong. Religion has been an inherent part of politics, not only in India, everywhere. You can call it culture, you can call it by any other name. But Arvind Kejriwal ji has mastered the art of distributive economics or left-wing economics plus right-wing cultural flashing, and that has been a winning formula. That is the default mode of India. Whereas Modi ji is trying the other way. Modi ji is trying to be the right or the soft right Hindu leader on a pan sense. At the same point of time, he is saying, I'm more into welfare economics. I can get you, deeper into the welfare schemes. So this has been, Modi ji has been consistently portraying himself, just like this photo wherever he goes. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Modi ji, but Modi ji purposefully takes photos with deities. He does Arati. When he came to Kerala in Shankaracharya photo, he does Arati. So this is let me be honest, this is a very clever political pitch from the part of him. The same with Arvind Kejriwal ji smearing the ash, or with Rahul Gandhi. But Arvind Kejriwal ji can be a potential rival to Narendra Modi, or Arvind Kejriwal ji is a good option, Shashi Tharoor is a good option, because they know how to position themselves well in the larger electoral scheme of
So
India.
can I ask you this, Rahul? Can I ask you this? You describe Arvind Kejriwal as left on economics and right on cultural referencing, and you say that is the winning combination. Do you believe, because the BJP would much rather have the Congress as an opposition than the AAP, do you believe that the numbers may not be as big for Kejriwal as he would have hoped, but do you believe that coupled with a win in Delhi MCD and possibly a decent showing in Gujarat, Arvind Kejriwal will become an opposition leader that can no longer be ignored on the national stage?
Partially true. Yes, partially true. If you want to take on Modi ji seriously on 2024, the only possible combination is Arvind Kejriwal in the army with one side, Sri Rahul Gandhi also leading Congress with Priyanka Gandhi, DMK, the Stalins on the other, the Kamala Hassan like left liberal space on the other. See, these political positions are very clear. Unfortunately, commentators include me many times sugarcoat their positions. If you want to defeat Narendra Modi or Amit Shah or RSS combined, which is a juggernaut with huge war chest, it is virtually impossible unless all these formations come together, which I don't see coming together. As long as Modi ji is living, Modi ji will have the charisma, individual communication skills, great digital media, social media team, virtually a upper hand over the entire, or at least near entire media. Modi ji will have that winning combination. Minus Modi ji, BJP can be beaten. But
So,
with Modi ji,
you're saying that to take on Modi, all of the opposition needs to come together.
Absolutely.
Which it won't.
Which it won't. Otherwise, it will be virtually impossible. See, 2 or 3 things are absolutely given. One, the huge war chest BJP is having. Second, Narendra Modi's communication, vibrant energy. He's a workaholic, which I'm proud of. Our Prime Minister should be a workaholic. He's a hardcore workaholic. You have a beautiful RSS army on the ground, Mohan Bhagwat ji. They are also able to take centrists into their fold, saying that, the Gandhian line, as you call it. So, Modi ji, Mohan Bhagwat ji, Amit Shah combine is virtually undefeatable unless the entire opposition comes forward. But because of their internal egos, they won't be able to come forward. Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal will have a problem. I know the Muslim votes, when they come, how to position will be a problem. Soft Hindu pitching by Arvind Kejriwal ji by keeping silent on important issues, including demolition, will be a problem. So it's a complex mathematics. So until Modi ji is there, it is very tough to beat. Perhaps after Modi ji era, Arvind Kejriwal may emerge. Shashi Tharoor is a great option because the English-speaking middle class will have a great traction. National media will have a great traction. See, you may remember Narendra Modi was a pariah for almost 10 years. But after that, he virtually became the champion of Indian media to the extent of people calling it Godi media. So, Modi ji has really turned the tables around. AAP plus Congress plus DMK plus, all the Muslim parties. That can be a winning combination. Otherwise,
You're saying that you need them to come together, irrespective of the fact that Arvind Kejriwal has, tomorrow the AAP can formally become a national party. That's what we've been actually saying. It can no longer be regarded as just a Delhi party. It has Delhi, it has Punjab, and let's see what it's showing is going to be in Gujarat. Kartikeya, do you have an update for us on the numbers, please? Kartikeya.
We have Aam Aadmi Party. Actually, we just updated the figure to 128, but it's reverted to 130 again. So AAP leading in 130, BJP 104. Interestingly, Barkha, what's also happening, the ECI website is now showing a clear lead for the Aam Aadmi Party, and these numbers are now synchronous with the ECI numbers. In fact, the ECI is giving 130 plus to the Aam Aadmi Party. If I'm not wrong, it's 132 to the BJP's 104. So I think, as I have been saying for the last 10-15 minutes, we can call this in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party, at least on the basis of number of councillors. As I said, post-election, mayoral election, politicking will be something very different. But as of now, I think we can call that the Aam Aadmi Party is set to cross the halfway mark in the MCD. And also, I was just looking at the narrow margin seat. So in a few minutes, I'll also have an update on you as to who is right now leading on a greater number of narrow margin seats, but in like another 5-10 minutes.
And if you want to talk a little bit about the Congress impact on these numbers, Karthik.
Yeah, I think the Congress has performed, I think, as per the exit polls with, 10 to 12% vote share they'll end up with. As I said, I think, Barkha, the bigger story is the BJP pulling up its vote share from 36 to 39%. And I think even the exit polls did not see that coming, if I'm correct, because I remember correctly, 2-3 exit polls I was following, they were giving BJP the range of 31 to 36%. But this 39%, I think, is beyond what they were expecting. The Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress have performed as per expectation. The others quota has gone down substantially. That's what I'm saying. The BSP used to occupy a good chunk of that 3 to 5% of that others quota. But that's gone down. The others quota used to be around 10, 15% on average. Last time was 15%. That's gone down drastically to 6.5%. And there'll be no surprise in sort of guessing that it's been distributed between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. I think more so the Aam Aadmi Party than the BJP.
Okay, let me go back to Rahul and Nakul. The Election Commission is giving now a clear lead. But I think Karthik has made the important point that the BJP has actually increased its vote share. It's done much better than the exit polls suggested, which is why you've had BJP leaders like Shehzad Poonawalla and Tajinder Bhagat telling Mojo's story, rest in peace exit polls. There's going to be a lot of exit poll bashing, Rahul. Do you share that sentiment?
Sorry, Barkha, can I just add? But still, Barkha, we are still looking at the last few rounds. It is possible this 130 might swell up. So still not RIP exit polls, I would say. I don't think that is I think too early to call. That's what I would say.
Okay, Rahul, go ahead, Rahul.
We all know the cliche exit polls are not exact polls. That's true, but they reflect a larger sentiments. They reflect, unless you go wrong, like the India Shining campaign, where the middle class were enamored by the BJP, but the lower economic classes, the backward classes were not on board, and the India Rising campaign can backfire. So it is also the campaign mood, the short sample survey we had. But exit polls do have important relevance, not only for psephologists, even for the larger section of people. And I believe we should be more honest, like the US elections, at least some part of them, where they have the community share vote bank. CSDS does in India, the community share. See, we should be honest and we should be able to understand which communities are levitating and gravitating. In the Karnataka elections, the Vokalingas and Lingayats, are they levitating towards a different party? So I believe the right-wing spectrum should become, or at least we should be more honest towards the right-wing spectrum, so that there can be a better deal for every community, rather than a mere secularism blank check or a Hindu identity blank check. Let every community have a better share. That's how you harmonize a community. And along with that, BJP right now is having momentum, because BJP is able to galvanize the middle class around the nation, and especially the aspirational, as you call it, middle class in a bigger way. This middle class, including me and perhaps everyone in the show, middle class to upper middle class, they have the critical voice in Indian society. That voice is very much oriented towards Modi, because Modi has championed and positioned himself as a global leader. The G20 comes in, Mexico saying that Modi ji can call Ukraine and Russia to solve things. See, whether it is right or wrong, the normal Indian feels proud. See, we are a superpower. Our prime minister is looked upon. We have an international statesman. So that affinity towards Modi ji is what really drives. To be very honest, I would vote for Modi ji and his candidate any moment. But without Modi ji, if there is a Shashi Tharoor on the other side, I would be, at least drawn between the two spectrums. Who should I vote for? As a normal Hindu middle class person, Modi ji is my eternal choice. But without Modi ji, if there is a fight between these two, I may be confused.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that I think this point was made earlier that in Delhi, the BJP fought the municipal corporation with national faces, whereas the Aam Aadmi Party really localized it down to garbage landfills and issues of schools and water. So it was a very completely two different campaigns, and it's quite interesting. Both have had different kinds of resonance. And as Kartikeya warned, can we go back to the seats, please? In the last mile, the Aam Aadmi Party lead could swell up more. My colleague Harshit is at the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. It's been a tense morning for the Aam Aadmi Party. In the morning, certainly there were times where the BJP was well ahead. Let's get a sense of what the mood is on the ground now.
आम आदमी पार्टी के दफ्तर में इस वक्त हम मौजूद हैं और माहौल यहाँ पर धीरे धीरे बदलने लगा है जैसे जैसे परिणाम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। सुबह हालांकि इक्विलिब्रियम बना हुआ था, भाजपा ने काफ़ी सीटों पर बढ़त ली थी, अब पार्टी आगे बढ़ती नजर आ रही है। क्या लग रहा है, सरकार बना पाएगी आम आदमी पार्टी या नहीं?
देखिए, अभी तक तो जो आपके आंकड़े रुझान बता रहे हैं कि हम सरकार बना चुके हैं, बहुमत से ऊपर है, एक सीट ऊपर है, और जैसे जैसे ये सीटें की गिनती कंप्लीट होगी, ठीक है, हम जो जैसा अरविंद जी ने कहा है कि 200 तक हम पहुंचने की पूरी उम्मीद है कि हम पहुंचेंगे। अभी देखिए कि आलम ये है कि जो बीजेपी के प्रदेश अध्यक्ष हैं आदेश गुप्ता जी, वो खुद अपना वार्ड हार गए हैं और वहाँ हमारा एक छोटा सा कार्यकर्ता जीत गया है। तो इसे आप समझ सकते हैं कि जनता में बीजेपी के प्रति कितना गुस्सा है। ये जो बीजेपी की इतनी सीटें दिख रही है, उनका संगठनात्मक मजबूती है, जो इतने सालों से उन्होंने अपने संगठन को मजबूत बनाया है, और उसके बावजूद ये सीटें दिख रही हैं क्योंकि उन्हें अपने संगठन में, उनके संगठन के लोग भी नाराज चल रहे हैं। एक छोटा सा कार्यकर्ता नाराज हो जो आम आदमी पार्टी की फेवर में है, लेकिन उनको मजबूरी है कि उनको कस्में खिला दी जाती है कि आपको और अपने परिवार को पूरा वोट बीजेपी में दिलवाना है। अगर वो कस्में नहीं खिलवाई जाती तो ये नतीजा जो अरविंद जी ने कहा था कि 200 प्लस और 230 का आंकड़ा आसपास हम टच करते, और अभी भी उम्मीद है कि 180 के आसपास हम जाएंगे।
180 तक आप जाएंगे। तो आप कह रहे हैं जो वोट अभी कम रह गए हैं वो कस्में खिला खिला के रोके गए हैं। क्या लगता है अगर सरकार आम आदमी पार्टी की बनती है, कौन से 2-3 बड़े काम सबसे पहले आम आदमी पार्टी को?
देखिए, आम आदमी पार्टी की जो बेस मजबूती है ना, वो शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य है। एक आप बड़े मीडिया चैनल पे आप तो देखते होंगे सारी चीज़ें, कि एक एनालाइज कर रहा था एक बड़ा पत्रकार, ठीक है, अपने आप को ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट कहता है, उसने बोला कि अरविंद केजरीवाल को जो लोग वोट दे रहे हैं वो अनपढ़ लोग हैं। अरे साहब, 70 सालों में इनको अनपढ़ किसने बनाया? अरविंद केजरीवाल ही है जो आके उनको शिक्षा की दिशा में लेके जा रहा है। अरविंद केजरीवाल ने जो शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य में काम किए हैं, जिसकी बदौलत लोगों को भरोसा है कि जो एमसीडी की गंदगी है और लोगों की जो प्राइमरी ज़रूरत है, आम आदमी की जो प्राइमरी ज़रूरत है, हर आदमी, एक छोटा आदमी, गरीब आदमी, रेडी पटरी वाला भी चाहता है कि उसका बच्चा कम से कम 5वीं तक अच्छे स्कूल में पढ़े। लेकिन वो एमसीडी के स्कूलों की हालत देखेंगे आप, दिन रात वो कमाई करा के बच्चे को प्राइवेट स्कूल में पढ़ाता है। लेकिन एमसीडी में अरविंद केजरीवाल जी आएंगे, बच्चों की बेस एजुकेशन, जो प्राइमरी हेल्थ हमारी और प्राइमरी एजुकेशन दोनों ठीक होगी और वर्ल्ड क्लास एजुकेशन होगी इस देश में।
सरकार अगर बनती है तो कैसे अपनी खुशी जाहिर करना चाहेंगे आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बनती है?
देखिए, सरकार बनती है खुशी, ये तो हमें उम्मीद था कि सरकार हमारी बनेगी, क्योंकि जनता बीजेपी के 15 साल के शासन से, भ्रष्टाचार से इतनी गरज थी कि आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बननी ही बननी है। अब हमें खुशी तब होगी और कि कितनी जल्दी हमारी आम जरूरतों का हम पहुंच जाएंगे, जो लोगों की उम्मीदें हैं हम उस पर कितनी जल्दी खरा उतर पाएंगे, स्कूल, हेल्थ, स्वास्थ्य, साफ सफाई पे कितनी जल्दी हम उनको भरोसा दिला पाएंगे। और ये मेरे ख्याल से आप कल परसों से देखेंगे कि गलियों की जो हालत, स्थिति, जो साफ सफाई की व्यवस्था बिल्कुल बदली हुई नजर आएगी।
Okay, very different mood there at the Aam Aadmi Party. A few years ago, there was no one willing to speak to Harshit. He had to move to the BJP headquarters, where the BJP was still hopeful. So the moods are shifting. But the very interesting point, and I want to start with Rahul on this and then Nakul, the localized approach of the Aam Aadmi Party vis-a-vis the national approach of the BJP, even to a local election, right? You bring out your chief ministers, your union ministers to on the MCD. That's the BJP, and in some ways that's good, Rahul, because the BJP doesn't consider any election too small to not take seriously. But very, very different approaches. Even though we often compare Kejriwal to be a softer variation of the BJP, the approaches to the campaigns are very different. Rahul, can you hear me? Okay, Rahul can't, so let me take the same question to you, Nakul.
Barkha, I would agree with you.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
No,
Rahul's back.
You want to get
Rahul, go ahead. Yeah, Rahul, go ahead. I was saying the approaches are very different to the campaigns.
Yeah. See, both are playing to their strengths. See, BJP's greatest strength, including in Kerala, where BJP is not even winning one seat, is Narendra Modi ji's face, charisma, and personality. So they want to take it up to larger things. They want to say that the Kaval or the Lotus is G20, India is going wild. So the aspirational class they want to tap into. Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party knows that is not their strength. But the good thing about the politician Arvind Kejriwal is he knows how to play to his strengths. He is rather pulling down or raising the game, whichever way you want to call it, by localizing the election and pointing out local problems, which is also good for the local people. That's a different thing. But Arvind Kejriwal ji really knows that particular thing. Unfortunately, with due respect, this is what Congress misses. See, Congress was the classical left liberal party with right-leaning flashings. Congress has missed out the pulse on the left liberal spectrum, and Congress has missed out the right-leaning flashing too. That's the reason why Congress is down to such a thing. So you need to invoke local elections, and when the right wing or the supposed right wing raises national and international issue, you need to point out whether Modi ji is a global statesman or not. It doesn't mean a thing unless you have electricity in your house to see the TV. So Arvind Kejriwal ji is a master politician in that. I respect. I disagree with him on a lot of policies, but I respect him as a political leader because he's a political activist with intelligence that can counter Narendra Modi ji. That angle is missing, unfortunately, from Congress. And with due respect, Rahul Gandhi ji is not taking up relevant enough issues. Jai Siaram and the other things, they won't resonate in the Hindu mind. But Arvind Kejriwal ji knows the large left liberal spectrum is vacant. The socialist spectrum is vacant. You need a champion there. He, coupled with Mamata Banerjee, Rahul Gandhi, Stalin, all can become a formidable force.
I'm not sure that you would call someone who's asking for Lakshmi, a goddess, to be on currency notes left.
If you can just use one line, we all know it is not serious. We all know it is just to counter the Godiji trend. We all know he's not meaning it seriously. I mean, everybody who is understanding politics understands that he's simply saying this so that it won't happen, but he can tell to the average right-wing person, see, I even demanded Lakshmi, but Modi ji is not keeping that. So these are all cultural flashings of him with very little seriousness. Just like BJP has some Muslim faces, which they call nationalist Muslims, or in the earlier time used to call Sarkari Muslims, saying that BJP is doing great. This is just a gimmick or jumla, as we all know from both sides.
It's just a jumla. Okay. I was going to come to Nakul, but Karthik has an update. Karthik, go ahead. Karthik.
Barkha, I think we can call the election, but this is why we have been dithering. I'll show you why. As of now, until 10 minutes back, when I look at the number of seats, right? If you look at the leads and the victory margins, we have as many as 39 seats where the margin is less than 500. Of these, 20 are being held. On 20 of these wards, the BJP is leading. On 18 wards, AAP is leading. So of these 102 or 104 that the BJP was getting until 10 minutes back, on 20 seats or wards, they were leading by less than 500. And Aam Aadmi Party of the 131, they are leading by less than 500 in 18 wards, which makes this election really tricky. But I think even then, I can say that we can call this in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party. We can at this point because these leads have stabilized. You're muted, Barkha. We can't hear you.
I'm saying this is a fascinating graphic because it actually shows that in many seats, the margin is, we're talking about 500 votes, a margin of 500 votes. Now that is going, now the reason that I know, Karthiki, you're not saying rip exit polls, but that means the BJP has done much better than the exit polls were able to catch, right?
In terms of vote share, definitely. I mean, if the BJP is touching the 40% mark, then the exit polls got the vote share of the BJP wrong, which is why you will see the difference in the seats that the BJP will get and what the exit polls are predicting. In terms of what the exit polls were getting for Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, I think they were spot on. So I think the whole
not spot on. We don't know where most polls predicted 150 plus performance.
No. But I'm saying vote share. I'm saying vote share. Vote share. Aam Aadmi Party, Congress. I think most exit polls plus minus 1 to 2%. They got it right. BJP's vote share, I think, is the surprise here. If I have to put it that way, and I think that is the reason why you will have the ulat fair in seats that you will at the end. Although even as we speak, the BJP is now edging down towards the 100 mark. 101 votes, 101 wards, whereas the now BJP is 100 wards. BJP 100, Aam Aadmi Party 133. That's what I've been saying all along. In the slog overs, the team which retains more wickets is in a better position to score. So therefore, the Aam Aadmi Party with its existing lead can build on. And I've been saying that if you look at how people vote, a lot of the daily wagers, the daily laborers, they go to vote in the evening. And so those votes are counted later. It is possible that might have a role to play as well. So I have been maintaining too early to call RIP exit polls, especially if you look at the vote shares, everything looks good except for the BJP's vote share. Kudos to them. But even now, with 133 up, 100 BJP will update this slide. 133 up, BJP 100, Congress 11, others 6. Aam Aadmi Party in a comfortable position now to have its own mayor.
Right. And so unless something changes in those narrow margin seats of 500 votes, a difference between BJP
and even between me compiling that list and talking to you, that might have changed a little bit, which is why probably we might have seen this churn that Aam Aadmi Party is taking the lead in 133 now.
So here's my question to Nakul and to Rahul. Nakul, to you first. Is there a lesson in this? You know, we've spoken a lot about the BJP's Delhi unit being in disarray since 1998. And when it comes to the assemblies, though they've been dominating the MCD, they've obviously put up a strong fight. Their vote share is all said to have increased, though they may not have been able to convert that into seats. But is there a lesson here also for Arvind Kejriwal? Oftentimes, he's been described by his critics as overconfident. You know, he's very clever. I think we all agree he's a very, very shrewd, smart politician. He's agile. He's able to adapt very quickly. But sometimes people have said he overestimates himself. This tight fight, might there be a lesson in this for the AAP as well? Or is it a winner takes all? It doesn't matter how many you know, in the end, how many seats you win by, how slender that victory is.
Yeah, I mean, Barkha, look, at the end of the day, every politician, every political party, including the Congress, will overestimate their chances. True. I mean, at least in terms of rhetoric, right? So, and Kejriwal also understands how that plays on the psyche of the voter. So does the BJP. So I think everybody says that, right? You know, till yesterday, the BJP was very confident that RIP exit polls. And I do feel, and I sort of agree with Karthikeya, that as we enter the slog overs, I think AAP seats are going to increase marginally. But coming back to another point, and this will be my last point, Barkha, I think I think maybe, and you know, just to come back to my previous point, that the BJP does have an ideological coherence, because of which they have an ideological cadre vote, which is about 32 to 35% in Delhi. Now that's big, and this is where I think Aam Aadmi Party's ideological dilly-dallying is the real lesson they need to take from this. You know, what is that core cadre that you can build for yourself, like the BSP had, like the left had, and so on and so forth, you know, not in Delhi, but in other parts of the country. Now, just very quickly, my last point, I think there's another very important poll promise that AAP has made in this election, something that Sayantan spoke about a while back, which is that devolving powers to the RWAs. Now, why I say this is very important is that if you go back to the early promises that AAP made 10 years back when they launched themselves as a political party, decentralization of power was one of the key issues that they had promised to the people of this country. Now, when they have, and if they win the municipal elections, which it seems they will, this is their opportunity to prove that they are in fact serious about it. Because on the one hand, Narendra Modi has this image of actually further centralizing power in India. You know, there is talk about how a lot of what should be autonomous institutions are also no longer functioning autonomously in the country. Whereas now Kejriwal has promised decentralization. I think this could be the interesting contrast going ahead from here between the BJP and the AAP. That can they seriously decentralize power, and how successful will they be? How well will it play out?
Okay, thank you, Nakul. I know you have to leave. Thank you so much for joining us all morning. I want to bring up actually now a graphic that shows a comparison between 2017. Can we bring that slide up now? 2017. Thank you, Nakul. Thank you for your time. Need the graphic up, please, on the comparison. And I want Karthikeya to actually talk about these numbers. This is okay. I just need to remind everybody that the MCD composition at that time was not 250. It was in fact 272. 272. Yeah. Okay. That being said, Karthikeya, decode these numbers for us.
Barkha, you can see, right, that in 2017 the opposition anti-BJP vote was split between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party's nemesis turned out to be the Congress's decent show. And so the Aam Aadmi Party could not gather as many seats as they would have liked to. But as we things stand today, after a thumping victory in 2020, despite the fact that the Congress has in fact increased its vote share a little bit, the Aam Aadmi Party seems to have consolidated all the anti-BJP vote. The BJP seems to have done better than 2017 in terms of vote share, is something we've been saying all along. Yet, just the way electoral arithmetic has worked, much like it might work for the BJP, or rather, let's not put that way. But the way the electoral arithmetic has worked in 2022 is very different from 2017. Hence, a very clear sort of victory, it seems, for the Aam Aadmi Party because the anti-BJP vote has coalesced around them. And also a very sharp decline in the share that other parties used to get. Independents, BSP, the MIM, I think, is getting less than 1% vote. So I think those are interesting stories, that the space for this third alternative, or the non-serious, or the not non-serious, but like non-major players in the state, has shrunk further in Delhi.
Okay, I think that's an important point. Let's start hoping that in the next 10 to 15 minutes we are able to close this coverage and this election conclusively. Rahul, do you see brand Modi also changing? We've spoken about how brand Kejriwal is agile and keeps readapting. Although Mr. Modi is often started as much more ideological, I think he's also over the years shown an ability to adapt as needed to the context. Go ahead, Rahul. Can we unmute Rahul? I can't hear you, Rahul.
Yeah, okay, fine. Just two submissions. One, about the decentralization part, the right wing generally, even though everyone with sense will disagree to Vijay Deverakonda, the famous movie star, many in the right wing would like a benevolent dictatorship. I mean, that's the attitude of people here. I'm not saying it is right, but there is a strand which says that if there is a messiah complex working, if there is a great leader, let him take along. Even though that is bad for democracy, many people see Modi ji like that. But second, Modi ji has cleverly reinvented himself to have that fakir style. See, when Modi ji wanted to become more acceptable from right to center right, he pitched himself as Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. That's how he built the largest Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue. He was pitching himself as a strong man. Now Modi ji wants Amit Shah to occupy the space of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and he himself is trying to place in the Gandhian mold by even using words like fakir when BJP won. May fakir who, this is thing, how. So Modi ji is trying to be in the Mahatma's mold, which is not a bad thing to do, because anybody who can be at least half a Mahatma will do great for India. So Modi ji is reinventing himself to be the pan-global second Mahatma Gandhi kind of leader. Mahatma Gandhi was ethically or spiritually more deep-rooted. Modi ji is politically more into that centrist mold, maybe also for the benefit of his party. But Modi ji has reinvented himself to that centrist mold where he appealed to Muslims, where he talked about Usman. I believe his childhood friend was Usman or something, even though that talk is a bit too less, but still that talk of that kind of dog whistle politics to minorities in a positive way, saying that don't worry, at the end of the day I will also be with you, kind of thing is there. And the ultra right, you may see, even abuses Modi ji to be Maulana Modi or Mahatma Modi, which is a very offensive thing in their pattern. People like Yedi Narasimhanand, who believe saffron flag should be there, when Modi ji promotes the tricolor flag, Yedi Narasimhanand is offended. So Modi ji has captured the center right space. My last line, but if Modi ji captures the centrist Gandhian space, it will be virtually impossible to dislodge him from that space, because with the huge war chest, communication skills, media with his hand, he can definitely, if any other American president other than Donald Trump said he is the second father of the nation, people would have taken it seriously. So Modi ji is trying to be in that mold. It will be virtually impossible to defeat him if he really encapsulates himself.
Okay. Sorry, Rahul, we lost a bit of what you said in the end, but you said Modi is virtually impossible to defeat. Here is Karthikeya with the latest numbers. Karthikeya.
I'll conclude. If Modi ji clearly gets into that Gandhian mold, which he positions, he will be virtually impossible to defeat, because the centrists will also can vote for BJP without guilt. The guilt-free communalism, as our left liberal friends call, the guilt-free communalism will really appeal. Even, to be honest, people like my mother who are not at all communal, but whenever it comes to BJP, she always says Modi ji is there, so there is no problem. See, this is an ordinary middle class. My mother is an ordinary middle class Indian who will feel bad at being anti-Muslim, but who will feel happy with being pro-Modi because he's pro-nation and pro-development. So once he captures the centrist Gandhian space, it will be virtually impossible to dislodge him as long as he is alive. We'll have to wait for that Gandhian world to evolve.
That's a very interesting point, because as they say, some people vote for Modi because of Hindutva and some people vote for Modi despite Hindutva. So I think that's the important point. Kartikeya, numbers.
Barkha, AAP is consolidating its lead, 134 leads now, 100 BJP. But I must also add, Barkha, that when I've been comparing numbers to exit polls, I've been focusing primarily on the Axis India Today poll. But there have been other polls which have been giving away numbers in different ranges. So whenever we have been comparing exit polls, there's a word of caution. We've either been looking at an average of all the polls, or we have been looking at Axis My India, because that's the one with a relatively good track record. So this is the generalized comments we have made should not be attributable to all exit polls. So please don't take offense when we say that. It's an average, or it was primarily India Today and Axis. But even as we speak, Aam Aadmi Party 135, BJP 100, Congress 11, others 4. As I said, Barkha, in the slog overs, whoever has the most number of wickets remaining is the one who's going to, surpass the other. So I think Aam Aadmi Party now clearly showing that there's a hawa in their favor. I think the moment they cross 140, Barkha, this would be a decisive victory, because that would mean the BJP will be in double digits.
So is there any surprise that is still possible? Do we have any sense of how much of the counting is still left?
Barkha, I don't think, given how these numbers have stabilized, I really don't think there's any, unless there's a black swan event, I really don't see anything flipping. There could be a plus minus, 2-3 here and there, but I don't see things flipping in a major way from here.
So are you saying that effectively at this point we can say that the Aam Aadmi Party is winning the corporation election?
Yes.
What we don't yet know fully is the margin of that victory. The BJP has in fact fallen a bit. The Congress has remained static at 11. Do you want to talk
10,
a little?
11, 10, exactly. Yeah,
10, 11.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about why the BJP has increased its vote share but decreased in seats?
No, I think I just explained it, that the vote share increase is coming from this last account, which is others. So that a lot of that vote has shifted to both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. But the BJP is now feeling hamstrung by the fact that beyond its core voter base, it has not been able to adequately expand. Whereas the Aam Aadmi Party has been able to pick up the votes that the Congress had stolen away from it in 2017 and denied it a victory. So I think that is a simple arithmetic. And in a one-on-one fight, with the anti-BJP voting now majorly coalescing around the Aam Aadmi Party, which was previously split between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party more evenly, the Aam Aadmi Party is in a better position to challenge the BJP, which, as I said, feels probably hamstrung by the fact that beyond its core voter base, the expansion has been very limited. Current numbers are 136, BJP 100. This could now cross 140, Barkha, and the moment it does, I don't think RIP exit polls is something one should be saying. Yeah.
Right. Let's actually do this. Let's just play a small clip of Arvind Kejriwal when we asked him what's his one distinctive ideology or characteristic today, and then we'll take a last look at the numbers before we close our programming. I asked Arvind Kejriwal what makes him different today from every other party. This is what he said.
जब आम आदमी पार्टी की पैदाइश हुई वो एक एंटी करप्शन मूवमेंट के बैक पर इमर्ज होके आई। आज अगर अरविंद जी से पूछा जाए कि आम आदमी पार्टी को क्या डिस्टिंक्ट करता है फ्रॉम बीजेपी एंड कांग्रेस, व्हाट मेक्स यू डिफरेंट, व्हाट मेक्स अरविंद केजरीवाल एंड द आम आदमी पार्टी डिफरेंट, वो आप क्या कहेंगे?
अरविंद केजरीवाल एक कट्टर ईमानदार आदमी है, कट्टर देशभक्त आदमी है। ये बात कहने की पूरी भारतीय राजनीति में किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है। तो वो क्या करते हैं, वो मेरे पे कीचड़ फेंकते हैं, कहते हैं नहीं ये भी हमारे जैसा है, हम तो चोर हैं ही। वो कहते हैं केजरीवाल भी हमारे जैसा। ये साबित करते करते इनको 8-10 साल तो हो गए, अभी तक तो साबित कर नहीं पाए।
So your honesty makes you different,
of course, and मेरी ईमानदारी और मेरी देशभक्ति।
ईमानदारी और देशभक्ति।
Okay, so that is Arvind Kejriwal. Kartikeya, are we calling this election now? Are we calling this because the AAP is now leading in 136?
Minus a black swan event, we can call it, yes.
So what we don't know yet is the margin of victory. Do we have any idea of how much counting is left?
Well, Barkha, it depends. But as I said, half an hour back, almost all the wards were in the 5th, 6th round of voting. So I think by now, these are the trends that should hold.
And here's my last question. Given close contest, and if we can have that close contest slide up now.
But that might have changed, Barkha. That might have changed. That I must say, that might have changed. But yes, 20 minutes back, it was 39 seats with Aam Aadmi Party leading in 18 of the narrow margin seats, BJP in 20 of them, Congress in 1. But as things stand, that might have changed by now.
Do you want to take a quick glance at that? Let's just take a look before we close at the narrow margin seats. If there are 39 seats with a margin of less than 500, that is really perhaps why everybody's being so careful in calling this election. Karthik is saying, short of a black swan moment, the Aam Aadmi Party is poised to end the BJP's 15-year domination. But the BJP has certainly put up a strong fight. It has increased its vote share. And we're going to actually maybe take a break here, say thank you to our viewers for staying with us all morning and have a clearer picture for you in a while from now. Thank you for staying with us and a lot to unpack and decode. We'll be back soon with more analysis. The Aam Aadmi Party at the moment poised to take the Municipal Corporation of Delhi and get its own mayor. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.